We are unmuted.
All right.
Just waiting for.
Sign of life.
Yeah, give it a couple moments. See if if anyone says something in the chat, we'll get started, and that will mean that we're both unmuted and audible.
All right, let me get my.
Hello, Cherry Goblin. Or can you hear me? And can you hear Neal? Neal, try talking.
Hello. All right.
Awesome.
I did see a yep.
Yep, we are good. All right, moving over to the bracket. Oh, hang on. One quick thing. I forgot to pause my own personal playback of the stream.
That's always hell.
It was just muted. So, okay, now we're good. Um, so welcome back to Neal Hates Video Games.
It's
Um,
called once you take me away from reviewing video games. Turns out that the point values go way down.
yeah, it turns out that this is more or less, I kid obviously, but this is the mentality I've always tried to like. I've always felt very strongly that a 5 is an average video game
I think.
and
I
not a
mean,
7.
it's so yeah. Like I kind of don't think I disagree with that. And there's a whole bigger conversation that
Yes.
I don't think Nintendo World Report is the site to try to start that war. Um,
Yeah. I,
it's the like I've always kind of viewed it like from when I came on and started reviewing games in 2008 at Nintendo World Report. The way I internalized our review score was 5 was an average video game, like 775 was the average video game that I would play and like not be pissed off that I bought. Like that was always kind of how I viewed it.
mm,
Um and but yeah, but going on with that, like if I were to like I mean if you some of the games that I've actually reviewed that are here, I mean we're gonna start getting to
a lot more of
um
them.
a, a shit ton of games that I have like receipts to what I gave them when they first came out, and I guarantee you in most cases the score is gonna be way lower. Um and it's not so much that like, oh, like I'm holding back, but it's just that I'm not gonna go and like I don't know, let's say Super Mario 3D World and Bowser's Fury, which I gave a 9 out of 10 a mere week or two ago. Um, I don't think we won't actually get to that here, but we'll get to 3D World, and if by doing this metric with 5 as the average, 3D World and Bowser's Furies would probably by how I've been handling this 7 or an 8. I still really like it, but it just I'm skewed in how I'm treating the games here. And honestly, if I gave 3D World plus Bowser's Fury a 7, I'd be dead.
Yeah.
Like like I don't want to be like, oh, like I'm letting the people change my mind because no, I still really like that game by the metrics that are generally considered to be true across video games media. I think that game's like a 9. I could even see it going higher, going lower. I know a lot of people gave it 10 out of 10s and stuff, and I don't think they're crazy for that by how scores are kind of inflated. And it's the way that it is. And if it weren't for the fact that Nintendo World Report still gets pretty solid Metacritic traffic, and like review scores do have a purpose for some places.
Yep.
I'd be in favor of getting rid of scores. Although I do really like meaningless stats and numbers, which is why I love looking at this graph that's on the screen.
Yes. Uh,
like this is fun. And
these are
that's
the
what like I
years that fucking sucked.
yeah yeah, and it's also like I I also don't hold review scores in the highest esteem in general, which is weird
Yes.
considering that my even if my Jordan I would consider Jordan Rudek to be the actual reviews editor at Nintendo Report right now. I need John to update the masthead. Technically I'm still listed as reviews editor, and I took that over once I stepped down from being director. But I think now I'm going back to like senior editor status or whatever. You heard it here first, folks. But
Um.
as someone who's been a reviews editor at our website, it is weird to to say that like I don't think review scores are that important, but I don't. I
Yeah.
don't think they're
No.
that important.
We'll. we'll get to that Let's put a pin on this because there's one game specifically, and you know which one I'm talking about, that we'll get to. And we'll talk about the importance of review scores when we get there.
All right.
And the harassment that they could bring.
Oh, yeah. 2014, can't wait.
Yep. All right, let's start with 2011. Mario Sports Mix.
I'm actually, we are, I guess, a week or two out from the 10th anniversary of this game. I had loose intentions of like sitting down and playing this game again.
Fuck.
Because I remember at the time really enjoying this. Like, it's not a top tier Mario sports game, but it's way better than it gets any credit, and that's largely because it came out in 2011 on the Wii. Yep. I'll give it. You know what? I'm gonna double check if this actually had online play.
It did.
Okay, give it a 7.
It does not now, but it did.
Yeah.
And I know that because the fucking review event for that thing or whatever was like New York versus San Francisco.
Yeah, I was at that. Because so I was riding high off of winning the Photo Dojo tournament where like yes. I went to that. I brought a buddy of mine to it, and I think I got bounced out in the second round. But that was a super fun event because I do like those playful competition events.
Yes.
Which, especially with people in the press, because we're all, it's like, I know people bag on like, oh, the media is not good at video games, but it's not that. It's that the market that Nintendo is going to be such a wide variety of talent, so you don't necessarily have everyone who's a ringer. I'll be real. There's a reason why like I won the Photo Dojo event. And that's because enthusiast sites are generally better at video games, even if I'm still largely probably considered to be terrible at video games in the eyes of a lot of people out there. But I got bounced in the second round, and it was kind of like I think once I found out that it was like, oh, you're not going to get flown to Nintendo headquarters, I'm like, oh, my heart's not in it anymore. But it was like a fun event, and like everybody kind of hung around when they did the final that was online. It was really enjoyable, and then I played that game when it came out and had a lot of fun with it. It's got Mario Hockey, which always deserves a call out because it was a good hockey game. And I'm trying to think of there was a basketball one, and the basketball is okay.
Basketball, dodgeball, hockey, and
there was a fourth one.
There sure was.
Volleyball?
Yes, it was volleyball. You're right.
Yeah, the volleyball was pretty good. The dodgeball was okay, and I would say that the hockey and the volleyball were the top two.
Yep. We Play Motion, this weird half indie experiment.
Yeah, like I just want to bring up. I know, like I'll get to the point where I need to like not spend so much time. I just want to point out who all worked on this because like I love that Prope. This is so probably the last good game that Yuji Naka ever worked on was in We Play Motion.
Did Ivy the Kiwi come out? Was that?
I think Ivy the Kiwi. I believe this.
Okay.
Because Ivy the Kiwi, whenever people have been like, Balan Wonderworld, what has he done for you lately? And I'm like, but Ivy the Kiwi was really good.
There were some Street Pass games.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
They did the fishing
Mansion
game and the Haunted Mansion game.
Which are both really solid. So Ivy the Kiwi was 2010. I will still forever stan Let's Catch the bizarre
yes.
like catch a ball while your parents get divorced and then aliens come and there's a baseball player. Let's Catch is amazing. But yeah, so We Play Motion as Prope, Vanpool, and Skip all worked on games for this. And
didn't Goodfield work on some?
Okay. No, now I'm looking. Chunsoft, Mitchell
Chunsoft,
Corporation.
Yeah, it was like no one worked on more than 2 games, and there were like 12, and they had a bunch of developers.
Yeah, so you have Arzest, Goodfield, Skip, Prope. Nintendo apparently did 1 internally.
Can you tell me, can you find the answer to this? What ones did Arzest work on?
Probably the worst ones. Cone Zone?
Yeah, that was real bad.
That being good. Spooky Search, also bad. And
perfect.
Jump Park, which I think was okay.
I don't remember that one at all.
Yeah. But I know like Goodfield, like Skip Skimmer was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they had Veggie Guarding. I know that because I did a video on the history of Goodfield and dug into these. I actually remember I didn't feel like trying to record the video of this, so I had to contact a YouTuber who had videos of this, and it was almost the response was like, "Why would you want this?" Like, this is a video from 8 years ago. I'm like, I like good feel, and then no one watched the video, so he was
Perfect.
right. But
Anyways,
I'll give We Play Motion a 4,
it,
because it's like some of the games were fun, but it's also like I believe it's the same thing as We Play, where it's just like, oh, it came with a controller.
game with the
That's why you
controller.
got this.
It was neat. You know, it wasn't neat. Mystery Case Files: The Malgrave Incident.
Give that shit a 2.
Are the two of us two of the only people in the world that have played that?
I did not play a lot of it, but I played a little bit of it because I
Okay.
got bored very, very quickly.
I got
Um, there aren't a lot of us who
that
played that
might
game.
be the only game that Nintendo emailed me for and was like, "Do you want an interview?" And then I ignored, and then they bumped it, being like, "Hey,
Yeah,
just checking, see if you
you
want to
can
interview
always
Big Fish."
yeah you can always tell when Nintendo is desperate to cover things when they offer interviews to us.
Yes. Uh,
It's like how I got an interview regarding Dylan's Dead Heat Breakers,
yes.
which was really cool. The Tanabe interview, that's wonderful. But yeah, I know why you guys called, because you certainly didn't call other times about things that were more important.
Yes. Kirby's Return to Dreamland.
Which I think I like this more at the time, and I just want to say, and we'll get to it. Kirby's Return to Dreamland paved the way for the very good Kirby games to come. This is merely a totally fine Kirby game.
Yes.
So I will give it a 5.
Here you go. You can start talking.
All right, so The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword is a game that I gave a 10 out of 10 to in 2011 when it came out, and my memories of playing this game are extremely positive. I do remember there is a friend of mine that it was actually the same friend that went to the Mario sportsmix event with me. We were hanging out and I was showing him the game, and I fought that big toad piece of shit that you fight like 8 times.
Yeah, I
And
was
this
about to
was
say, how many times do you think you, off the top of your head, you fight Demise as he wiggles around?
I
Too many.
so yeah, I over exaggerated. I think it's like 4 or 5.
I think
Um,
it's like six, literally.
okay. So I did over exaggerate. But I so when I was playing it, the Game Informer review had already come out, and it was a 10 out of 10. And I was reminded of this after my review went up, because my friend texted me and was like, "Hey, so what happened when you fought the big toad piece of shit and you threw a controller down and yelled, 'Who the fuck would ever give this game a 10 out of 10?'" And then I gave it a 10 out of 10.
Amazing.
And I will say, like, it is a game that if I were reviewing now, there's no way I'd give it a 10 out of 10. I where I was in 2011, I totally get where I was coming from, despite my outburst at the time. Um, I think this is
Fuck
a
this game.
flawed game. I think this is a flawed game that I still enjoy a whole lot. I think the two major issues that I have with it are some of the pacing, and that includes the bullshit with the big toad demise.
Yep.
Um, I didn't have like I feel like the motion controls are a real your mileage may vary kind of thing, and
If
the
you are
working
physically capable of playing that game, the controls
yes.
work. If you have a disability, fuck you.
Oh yeah, that is. I mean, Nintendo largely hates people with disabilities.
Yes, or if you
That's
just like have low stamina or
yeah,
whatever. Yeah.
yeah. Which I'm happy that Skyward Sword HD is giving a buttons control option. I don't know if that'll be good. How do you stab? Do you have to click in the right stick?
That's my
I
guess.
eh.
That's
um
genuinely my guess. Is thrust forward is
uh
clicking right stick.
yeah. I the motion controls really worked for me, and I from talking to people over the years, it seems like they did not work for other people, and I could only at the time, as I was reviewing it before it came out, I could not like be like, oh, what was your experience with it? Everyone that I talked to pre-review seemed to really like the motion controls. um
Yeah,
eh,
no, I thought the motion controls were fine. I think it is a catastrophic example of the structural issues that Nintendo was dealing with that generation. It is
yes,
the pinnacle of, hey, why don't you take a break?
yeah.
It is like handhold you for 6 hours.
So
Mhm.
I was gonna say I am relatively fresh off of re-recording my review. There's a video up on Nintendo World Report's YouTube page that John Raridan put together that I re-recorded my audio for my original 2011 review. Definitely rolled my eyes several times while reading that review. There's one line. I think it was very much like try hard 23-year-old Neal, where there's a sentence in there that's something along the lines of like, this is an epic, the kind of epic that you call out a school or work for. Like, who? What the fuck, man?
Jesus.
And like, I'm happy that my writing has evolved since
Yes.
then. But there's a lot of points in that. Like, I still think the way the combat evolved from Ocarina to Skyward Sword is honestly like fascinating and cool. How they arrived at what they did in Skyward Sword. It is just bloated. There's too much tutorialization throughout that game.
There needs to
I
be
do
an
like,
option to shut Fi the fuck up.
yeah, that's what I hope they have in the HD version. Is do it like Bowser Jr. in Bowser's Fury, where you can have Fi help a little, a lot, or not at all. I do, and it's still something that I love that Nintendo sometimes includes, is where they basically just have like a built-in FAQ into the game with the super guide function. I just think that you need to do that in a better way, and I think the conclusion that Nintendo drew from that is just don't do it.
If I'm in the last dungeon, don't tell me what a green rupee does.
Yep. But I also think that Skyward Sword is extremely representative of the Wii as a whole, faults and all. I do really like that game. If I were to review the Wii version now, I would not give it a 10 out of 10. For the purposes of this, I'm going to give it an 8.
Okay. I will say that holy shit at the fact at every single side-by-side comparison of the graphics, just because this game was built while they were making an HD console. It was released after they had announced the HD console.
Yeah.
It was designed so that it wouldn't age that poorly. It was very impressionist and bright color.
It was really cool.
Without details.
Yeah.
Which, that's what looks good when you're going back through old resolutions on higher resolution technology. And so you look at the two side by side and you're like, great, there's less anti-aliasing. It's less fuzzy.
Yeah.
And then they're like, okay, but we're going to charge $10 more for it now than it cost 10 years ago.
So I mean, you're bringing this up, so we're going to talk about it. I don't think the pricing is really, I think, yes, I would love to see Skyward Sword HD come out for 40 or 50 bucks. I don't think it coming out for $60 is that ridiculous. I think Miitopia being $50 is a much bigger travesty.
Yes, I think Miitopia 50 is shooting that game in the foot a second time.
Yeah.
And I think that Skyward Sword at 60 is a hard pill to swallow when they haven't shown anything different.
And that I will agree with. I think
I'm not saying that there won't be anything. They didn't show anything.
Yeah, that's why even if I still I like, I guess I've two different minds on this. One is that Nintendo released Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze plus Funky Mode literally for $10 more, and the only change was like Funky Mode.
Oh no, they tripled the price because Tropical Freeze had been 20 at that time.
Oh my god, yeah, it was.
So what they did was they delisted it from the fucking Wii U eShop because Wii U owners could have gotten a better deal, and they said, nah, fuck them.
So I guess my thing with that is like the time to complain about Nintendo making like these remakes, ports, remasters, full price was in 2018 when Tropical Freeze came out. But here's what happened. Tropical Freeze did pretty well.
Yes. Real quick, GX. There's a discount on Famicom Detective Club if you buy both. So it's not 70 for both; it's 60 for both. If you buy one at 35, the other goes down to 25.
I also think that Famicom Detective Club. I think $60 for both games is. I don't know if it's. I don't know the length of those games, and it seems like the remakes are very full featured. I think it's a hard pill to swallow when people don't really know that much about what that series is.
Agreed. That is a decision that was made almost certainly because of the region-free nature of the Nintendo Switch eShop.
Yeah.
That the English version is going to have Japanese, so you kind of got to price the same
Yep.
globally.
Yeah.
But yes, no, like those games, like Famicom Detective Club is like each of those games is probably 5 to 6 hours.
Yeah. I mean, like I'll be real. Like I'm well, it's also like I'm not the average consumer.
Oh,
So when I'm like I'm gonna buy both Famicom Detective Clubs on launch day, and I'll probably buy Skyward Sword HD on launch day. Like I'm a weirdo.
yeah,
Um.
the first one they showed, not the one about the girl,
Yeah.
but the other one is the better one.
Okay.
There is explicitly one of them is more liked than the other.
Okay. So it's the first one is considered to be the better one.
Yeah.
Okay, good to know. Like that, then I'll start with that one. And if I really like it, then maybe I'll play the second one too.
Yep.
Um,
There were the second one had like it was like more polished, but like that's the case if you're going back to the originals. These are being made side by side, so you would expect them to be technically
yeah,
equivalent to one
yeah,
another. So it's just the story is different.
yeah. And I guess the final thing about because I think I said of two minds and I only talked about
Yeah.
one mind. Um, yeah. So the time to complain about the $60 price for games was when Tropical Freeze came out and was like hot horse shit. And then the other thing is I I am confident that there will be more changes to Skyward Sword HD. If there are not, then $60 is absurd.
Yep. That's where I'm at. Is
Yeah,
if it's portable and it
button
has
controls.
it has button controls. $60, please. Don't go to the Wii U eShop where you can buy Skyward Sword for 20.
Yeah. Yeah, my like if they do what they did with like I mean honestly if they just did what they did with Wind Waker HD and Twilight Princess HD, which was like add a hero mode, although I think Skyward Sword had a hero mode
It already
already.
did.
Um, but like clean up some of the pacing, make some of the widely derided parts of that game, like do things like make Fi toggleable.
You'd
Um,
hope, based on the fact that they felt they had to be defensive in the announcement about
yep,
the existence of Skyward Sword, that they
yeah,
know that
yeah, and
they
and
can't get away with it.
if there's judging by the fact of Breath of the Wild's existence and what like
Yes,
Anuma has said, they were aware of what didn't land well with Skyward
yes,
Sword.
Skyward
Um,
Sword being received as it was is what made them go back to
yeah,
the drawing board and gave us Breath of the Wild,
yeah. So
which Neil
they
and I disagree on the quality of, but yes.
yeah, yeah. Like I mean, I like Skyward Sword a whole lot. I also totally understand where people are coming from, where they bounced off of it.
Yep.
Um,
If
like
you didn't leave, if you didn't get off Skyloft, that is not your fault.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I think the tutorial of that game, and that is the kind of thing that I think, um, it's also like there's a little bit thing of like a reviewer that like if you've been following a game closely, then some of the early troubles of like getting you acclimated to it might not affect you as much as it'll affect other people.
Yes. Cherry Goblin Link Between Worlds did come out 2 years later. Link Between Worlds sucked partially because they didn't they were going halvesies because they hadn't figured everything else out about what they wanted to do in terms of open structure yet. So
Yeah,
instead they just gave you everything all at once and then there was no progression at all.
yeah. I still like it. It sucks because I think so much about Link Between Worlds does work, and then that open-ended back half it does like that's it's a game I reviewed and I think gave it 9 or 9.5 at the time. Um,
Yes. We'll get there.
yeah.
Fortune
Uh,
Street.
Fortune Street, let's give that. So, if Fortune Street didn't have bullshit single player and the online does exist. If the online was better, I think.
I never played the single player, so I actually
Yeah,
genuinely
so
don't know how bad it is.
the single player just has like outrageously shitty AI, and if you want
Perfect.
to unlock everything, you have to deal with that single player. However, the local multiplayer experience in Fortune Street is like slam dunk a 10 out of 10, maybe like my favorite multiplayer Wii game. And I think Fortune Street is really cool, but only if you have good AI, which I have not seen a Fortune Street game have that. Granted, I've only played two. There was
Did you play the Dragon Quest meets Final Fantasy 30th Anniversary one on PS4?
no. I had my fingers crossed that maybe we would get an English localization.
No,
We did not.
no. The
I played There's I think it's an
Forza Street
iOS.
tanked. You ain't getting another localization unless
Yeah.
Nintendo's paying for it.
There was a Fortune Street on iOS that I think came out around the same time. It was something that after like I didn't actually get Fortune Street until I wound up getting it like on a Newegg sale in like 2013, and then I played it and played the crap out of it with friends locally. Like
And
it
that
became
is why it tanked.
yeah, no, it didn't do well. But I remember after like my friends and I played it a lot, then like someone was like, "Yo, I found this on the iPhone." And then we started playing it on iPhone, and that had better online.
Perfect. Of course it did.
But I will give Fortune Street a 7, and I'm probably overrating it, but it's like really like oh my god, that it's Monopoly with the stock market, and there's Mario and Dragon Quest characters. I adore that.
Yes. All right. DS time. Keep in mind, this is 2011, the launch of the 3DS, so most of these games, again, keyword most, are localizations of games that have been out in Japan either the last year or years prior. Pokemon Black and Pokemon White.
I'll give this one a 7.
Okay. Kirby Mass Attack, which is one of the only two games that was new in 2011 for DS globally.
I really like Kirby Mass Attack. This is another one that I totally reviewed, and I'm not even going to look up my review because it was definitely an 8 or higher. But for the purposes of this, I will give it a 6.
Do you prefer it over Return to Dreamland? Not just in terms of originality.
Yeah. No. I think Mass Attack also has like the really adorable, cute mini games that I like a lot.
I really like the artwork in Mass Attack.
Yeah. I mean, out of the DS Kirby game, like Superstar Ultra is very good, but that's mostly because Superstar is a good game. Although I think that's also a good remake of Superstar Ultra. But I think Kirby, like I like Kirby Mass Attack more than Canvas Curse personally.
Yeah.
It's a good game.
Fossil Fighters Champions.
I'll give this one a 5. I did not play a lot of it, but I don't remember. It's one of those games where I'll just kind of admit, like, I don't really think it's for me. It's a kid's game.
Yeah, it's neat. I played a surprising amount of both Fossil Fighters Champions and Dragon Quest Monsters Joker 2, which were like around the same time.
Yeah. I mean, I'll jump ahead to that. I will also give Dragon Quest Monsters Joker 2 a 5. Okay. It's weird because I love those games. I played the snot out of the Game Boy Color game. Never really got into any of the later Dragon Quest Monsters games.
Okay. DQ6 Realms of Revelation.
I think that's the weakest of the I guess what is it, the Loto trilogy or whatever the hell? 4, 5, and 6.
4, 5, 6.
I think that's the weakest one there. It's still a pretty good Dragon Quest game.
Did this game release on Valentine's Day?
I think it did. Yeah, because that's why I got a Valen Slimes.
Yes, Be My
thing.
Valen Slimes shirt came with the review copies of this one.
Yeah. I'll give this a 6.
Professor Layton and the Last Spectre, and this is also the one with the Brownie Brown RPG in it.
I'll give it an 8 because London Life is super fun.
The Legend of Zelda 4 Swords Anniversary Edition as our final DSiWare title.
And also the maybe not the first time, but a time in which Nintendo did a limited release digitally.
They did bring this one back for another limited time.
Yeah, I forgot about that. I'll give this one I'll give it a 5.
Okay. All right.
I was thinking of just giving it a 4 because of 4 Swords, but like, no, it's really cool that they did that, and
yes.
Yeah, like it. I wish it was online, but it was fine.
AR games.
Oh god, this gets a separate.
It is a game.
So the AR games. Okay, yeah.
I've put
gimmicky.
Wii Sports separate.
Yeah, that is fair. I think the AR games are gimmicky. I can't think of a time that I ever did anything with them after the first month that the 3DS came out. I will give it a 3.
Okay. And speaking of pre-installed Face Raiders.
I'll give that one a 4 because I thought that was at least something that had a little more longevity.
And then at launch, the Street Pass Me Plaza games.
So how are we doing the Street Pass Me Plaza games?
This is the only presence of the Street Pass Me Plaza.
Okay.
I didn't put the other games in here just because I couldn't decide on which way I felt comfortable doing it, like wave 1, wave 2,
Yeah.
or like buy the individual games because they were available for sale. But like, is that, I don't know. I never felt it never felt.
That yeah, I could see. Yeah, it's hard to do
So if
because
you
I
want to
don't
just
think
do
they are
all Street Pass Me Plaza, we can. But
um because well, I guess if we look at it in terms of launch, it was Street Passing, Puzzle Pieces, and Find Me.
yep, find me
Give that
one puzzle pieces. Yep.
um I don't know that even I mean I if I were to bake in the other Street Pass Me Plaza stuff, like I kind of feel the same way about all of it, even if it did get incrementally better as they kind of got more cool novel complexity in the games.
Yes.
I think this is the stuff that was like the gold of 3DS. I'm gonna I guess go kind of big with this and give it an 8 because
Okay.
like the puzzle pieces were something that I like years
Yep.
I spent street passing people. Find Me is like silly, but once again, it was just a really fun way to engage with the console in a new way.
Yeah. No, it was. Yeah. Street Pass Me Plaza is fucking great. All right. Launch games: Nintendogs plus Cats, French Bulldogs and New Friends, Golden Retriever and New Friends, and Toy Poodle and New Friends.
Give that a 5.
Okay. Pilot Wings Resort,
Give that one a 6.
Steel Diver.
A 3.
Oh, so the price times however fucking times 13. The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time 3D. This would be June, so this is 3 months later.
Yeah. I'll give this one a 9. I think it's like no, I'm not gonna go 10 with this. It like I do think that Ocarina of Time 3D is the best version of Ocarina of Time.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like there's
And
no
it's
question.
a tremendously good remake. But I'll stick with the 9.
Okay. Star Fox 64 3D.
I think this is also the best version of Star Fox 64. However, it has local multiplayer instead of online multiplayer, where you can look at your face while you play local
Yeah, with a
multiplayer with
0.3
no one.
megapixel camera that has a refresh rate of about once a minute.
It's and I think this is also a very impressive 3D game. But I will almost spite give this a 6 because that local multiplayer makes me so mad. Because like it, just imagine if we could actually play that stupid game online, it would be a ton of fun. Instead, like I played it like once at a PAX.
All right.
And we were all next to each other, so the point of the camera was it was pointless.
Yes. If you'd we're into more Pokemon spin-off time. Pokemon Rumble Blast being the cartridge release that is barely fleshed out from the $15 WiiWare game.
Give it a 2, mainly because of the price. I think it might have been a $30 game, but even still.
Okay. Tetris Axis.
Like one of the last Hudson Soft games before they got consumed by Konami. Other than that,
This and
I
Dual
played.
Pen Sports.
Yeah, I think that was right around the same time. I think they came out like within days of each other. I'll give this one. I'll give it a 5 because I don't have a memory of anything specific, but I also don't remember like this was a Tetris game that I played, and I wasn't like, well, they fucked it up, so it has to
Can't
be.
get it anymore, so
Yeah.
because the Tetris license was
Yep.
weird there for a while. They seem to be doing better with the Tetris license now,
Yeah.
but ugh. Super Mario 3D Land.
So this is a game that at the time I was very high on, and I continued to be high on it after playing 3D World.
Until 2 weeks ago.
I mean, almost literally. Well, so I guess I will say here's the evolution of Neal's thoughts about 3D Land and 3D World. Playing both of them at launch, enjoyed them a lot. Like after 3D World, I was like, okay, I really like the cat suit, but I think I like 3D Land more. By the time I got, let's say like 2015, I was like, okay, maybe 3D World was just okay. Like I think the jumping not in 3D, not in stereoscopic 3D is a little annoying. Like some of the stuff seems focused on multiplayer, and I'd rather have a good single player game. Maybe I like 3D Land a lot more, and like would occasionally revisit parts of these games and be like, okay, like I think I like 3D Land more. in like probably let's say 2017, 2018, I kind of got to the point where I'm like, maybe they're both overrated. Like probably around Odyssey time, I kind of looked at 3D Land and 3D World and was like maybe they're just okay. Like they're not amazing. They're not top tier Mario games.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of settled where I think like, okay, I probably 3D Land is not a game I will ever revisit. Like I think the back half is fine, but that beginning is very slow. And then playing 3D World, and I was like, okay, no, 3D World is very good. 3D Land is a very sluggish first 6 or 8 worlds, and then a really solid back half. But the fact that you have to take that long to get to the good stuff is really crappy. I still wound up 100%ing this game back in 2011, so I will not say it's like absolutely terrible. I had fun with the back half stuff. Uh, it's a big long way to say that I will give 3D Land a 6.
Okay. The speed boost really does help 3D World.
Yeah. That would actually, I would say specifically the 3D World on Switch is the version that I think is very good. Even if like Toad is hysterical to use now because he's too fast.
Yes, Toad is. We've been having that problem. Toad is.
Yeah,
Very,
like
very fast.
I basically just stopped playing as Toad when I was playing the game. Whereas in the original release, that's all I played as.
Mario Kart 7.
You know what? The more that I reflect on Mario Kart, I think Mario Kart 7 sucks.
Sure does.
I gotta give it a 3.
But you can play as the Queen Bee from Galaxy. What's not to love?
I guess my thing with Mario Kart 7 is I think that while I drew a lot of ire for being frustrated with the series in 8, all of that frustration really started with 7.
Yep, that makes sense. 3D Classics Excite Bike.
I'll give this a 5.
3D Classics Xevious.
I'll give that one a 5.
3D Classics Urban Champion.
You know what? I'll give that one a 5 too. I think my thing
Whoa.
why I'm going 5 with 3D Classics in general is that I think they were priced right for what they were.
No. Hard disagree on Urban Champion. They charge like fucking $8 for 3D Classic
Wait,
Urban
okay.
Champion?
You know what? I will need to confirm pricing on the 3D Classics games.
I think it's $8 for each of them.
I thought they were $5 each.
No. That's what the untouched NES ROMs of these same games were.
Okay.
No.
Yeah,
These are 8 each.
All right. The slightly revising. Give Excite Bike. You know what? Keep Excite Bike at the 5.
Uh-huh.
Bring Xevious down to 4. Bring Urban Champion down to 3.
Okay. Urban Champion is not Nintendo's worst game, like people were saying at the time, but it's real basic.
I do think the things that they did to it in 3D made it a better game. Not saying it is a much better game, but it's a better game.
There's more than one thing to look at now?
Yes.
Uh,
Twin B, I'll also give a 4.
okay.
I do think the 3D effects on all these games is legitimately great.
Yeah, no, the 3D effects were fine. They were priced a little out of whack. Free forms your creations alive. What the fuck was this game, Neal?
All the good drugs.
And all the bad drugs.
Yeah.
All of them.
All the drugs all together. I like it because I'm predisposed to enjoy anything that a skip or skip offshoot company makes.
That fucking soundtrack just makes me think of all the bad Yoshi soundtracks.
But I have to be so I know Freaky Forms Deluxe is I think coming up in
Yep, that's
2012. I'm gonna give this one a 3.
So this
and I'll
is...
I'll probably give Deluxe a little bit higher score because I think Deluxe is even if Deluxe is more expensive, I recall there being more to it.
I think the pricing is 8 versus 35.
Oh man.
Because Freaky Forms Deluxe was 100% a cartridge game.
Yeah.
So this is the $8 version, which you can no longer buy. You can now only buy Deluxe.
Oh, that's some horse shit.
It sure is. Nintendo loves doing this. It is always horse shit. So we're still giving a 3 to this?
Okay. So yeah. You know what? No, no, I'll go 4 with this one.
Okay.
And then because I thought I thought it was a $20 game.
No, 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 no.
Okay. Yeah. Then I'll probably go with like 3 on
Okay.
deluxe.
3D Classics Kirby's Adventure. The
This
best
one
3D Classics.
I will give this I'll give this a 7. This is like the best version of a great game.
Yeah. Pushmo.
Ooh.
That was a launch game.
I'll give this an 8.
And then finally, just for funsies, Swap Note. Rest in peace.
I'll give Swap Note a 7 because it was legitimately great until they shut it down.
By 7, do you mean 7 or 7-year-old out of 10? Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah.
Rest in peace, Swap Note. You are missed.
Didn't it come out on like New Year's Eve?
Yes, it did.
I remember being at a New Year's party, messing around with Swap Note with friends. It was a very good memory. And I had so much fun with that game for a while, and then it got ruined because of children. Yes. And child. Well, more accurately,
no, it got ruined because of adults, not because of children.
Yeah. I was gonna say more accurately, child predators.
Yes. All right, 2012 is a fucking banger. Get ready for this. Rhythm Heaven Fever.
Give that shit a 9. I forgot that came out that late on the Wii.
Yeah, it was summer 2011 in Japan and February 2012 in the rest of the world. In North America. It was like summer 2012 in Europe.
So I remember, like, because we talked about Rhythm Heaven DS, and I liked it. I didn't really get why everybody was like, Rhythm Tengoku's the truth. And I realized it with Rhythm Heaven Fever because for me, Rhythm Heaven needs buttons.
I mean, yes, you're not wrong. Park 2 Wonders Beyond.
This is a Poke Park game that I actually played, and I think it is totally fine for what it is. Give it a 5.
Mario Party 9.
I think a lot of people hate Mario Party 9. I actually had a ton of fun with it. I think some of the streamlining that they did to like putting everybody on the same vehicle quickened the pace of the games, which was always a problem. I'll give this one a 6.
Xenoblade Chronicles.
I'll give this an 8.
Speaking of games...
I think that Xenoblade Chronicles, like, I guess it's also... I think Xenoblade Chronicles almost has, like, the reverse of Super Mario 3D Land for me. It's that, like, I wasn't as hot in it right away. And I wasn't actually... I didn't play through it all the way until the 3DS version. Mainly because my Wii hard drive died midway through 2012 when I was, like, 40 hours into a playthrough of Xenoblade. Amazing. And then I didn't go back to it until 3DS because I was like, nope.
Yeah, no worries if you haven't played these other 2 Wii games then. Speaking of games that Nintendo of America passed on and then changed their mind because 2012 was barren, new Play Control Pikmin 2.
What did I give Pikmin 2 originally?
That would be like, what, 2004?
I think it's 4 or 5.
It's not 5. You gave it a 6.
I will also give it a 6 on Wii.
Okay. Kirby's Dream Collection.
I think this is a totally good collection of Kirby games.
I like the original content.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because this had the really cool museum.
This had the museum, but this also used the Return to Dreamland engine to create specific challenges for all the different costumes in Kirby history.
Yeah. Give that an 8.
It's way better than ROM on a disc. Like, this is probably one of the most in-depth.
And then it has all the silly stuff where it's just that, like, here's... because it has the whole timeline that you can walk through as Kirby.
Yes.
And when there's not a Kirby game, there's just, like, random facts. Like, I think one of them might be, like, Cal Ripken set the record in baseball or something. Like, it's just like...
weird historical trivia about the year. Yeah.
I think there's a lot of shitty Kirby games out there, but I like the characters. I like the way they have used the character over the years, even if some of the games suck.
Yes. New Super Mario Brothers U.
I'll give this a 7. I think it's a really good 2D Mario game.
Nintendo Land.
I will give the So I think I was about to just be like, I will give this a 10, but like some of the single player games do kind of suck.
You gotta keep Game & Watch Octopus in mind.
Yeah. Just I will say my son actually enjoyed Game & Watch Octopus. I turned on Nintendo Land, and then he like went over to the Game & Watch Octopus game and like laughed a lot at it.
I mean, but then you also get the Donkey Kong Crash Course,
which is incredible. I
Yes.
I love. I actually, when I booted up Nintendo Land, I wound up playing that for like a half an hour,
It's
like not
still
even
good.
planning to. Yeah. I'll give this one an 8. I
Okay.
think some of the multiplayer stuff is absolutely incredible, and I wish Nintendo would find a way to somehow bring it back because
Mm,
I've never really played games like that. And
yeah, maybe that ethos, but you're never gonna get those games
yeah,
on another
yeah,
platform. Those
yeah.
are
And I mean, I totally understand that it is like an impossible ask and it's probably never going to happen. And I will just cherish my memories of playing Nintendo Land in like 2012 and
yeah.
2013.
For me,
Um,
it was the wish that some of the multiplayer games were more different from each other, like the Mario Chase, Luigi's whatever, and Animal Crossing
yeah, and
were
I do.
three different takes on a similar formula.
And I think they differentiate each other enough. What I always found fascinating about about those three games in particular is that like it's almost like depending on the different group of people that I would play with or talk to, like the Luigi's Mansion one was never one that really played as much with my circle of friends. It was always Mario and Animal Crossing. Like that
Mm,
Animal Crossing game was one that I played so much, and the Luigi's Mansion one just it's good. I don't think it's bad. And I would talk to other people who would be like, "Oh, that's the only one we played." Like that was the one
yeah.
that everybody loved. I do think they're really good. Yeah, I kind of wish there was more content there.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah.
but or at least more content per game because like I think for some of them like you only had like 2 maps and like that would kind of get old over time. But
Yeah. Same. All right.
and then I feel like the Metroid, Pikmin, and the Zelda thing are almost like there's too much.
Yeah. There's so much in the Pikmin one. Like, wait,
Yeah.
almost too much. You're right. All right. Last game by Freestyle Games, Sing Party.
R.I.P. Freestyle Games DJ Hero is awesome. Sing Party, however, is not. Give that one a 2.
And then finally, Ninja Gaiden 3 Razor's Crest.
Hey, isn't this coming back?
Yes, they took a really bad game that had been panned by like everyone the year before. They
And they
funded
made it
a
pretty good.
they funded an updated version that made it a little less bad. But people
Yeah, I'll
still
give
don't
it.
like Razor's Crest.
I'll 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 give it a 4. Like I did not play the original Ninja Gaiden 3. I did play the first two and like liked them well enough. I thought specifically Razor's Crest was totally fine. Probably not as good as the preceding ones.
It also was a real worrisome sign of things to come because it had a lot of performance issues.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this is a Nintendo published launch game.
And then it turns out that a lot of games that Koei Tecmo would put out on Nintendo platforms in the future would have performance issues.
Weird.
It's
Weird.
almost like there's a common denominator there.
Who could who could look at this picture and find the commonality? It's just impossible.
It's like I loved playing Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, but like really that's the best you could do with the graphics and the
If you play Dynasty Warriors 9, which is the game that was so bad that they apologized for it, canceled every game based on it, and to this day every Warriors game is still, including like the newest ones, are still based on 8 instead of 9 because 9 was so bad and so poorly received. If you play 9 on Xbox Series X, it still can't run it
That's what, yeah, I remember hearing that
at an
recently, but
acceptable
like
frame rate and resolution.
it still runs like hot trash.
It runs like hot trash on when it's unlocked. It's just so like, what the fuck is this game? Anyways, um yeah, so Pokemon Conquest for the DS. I was just talking about this with my fiance last night. Nobunaga's Ambition X Pokemon.
It is like the weirdest game. I'm not like the biggest like Nobunaga's Ambition fan, but the audacity of how weird this game is, made it like it's one of like I feel like in a Project Cross Zone kind of way, where like Project Cross Zone, like is it a great strategy game? Like not really, but like it's so ridiculous that I loved playing it. That's kind of how I felt about Pokemon Conquest. I'll give it a 6.
I mean, what if Pokemon, but you had explicit Japanese historical nationalism in it? Like, I don't know where the issue is. Um, Pokemon Black 2 and White 2.
So this is a game that I keep on feeling the urge that I should revisit because I did the thing with this that I did with every time I tried to play a third Pokemon game, where I'm like, I already played this game. Even if this had a different story, I was just like, well, I was just in this world. Why do I
And
want
it
to do
had
it
like
again?
all the worlds were different, like all the areas were different too. Like
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
genuinely like I get why they don't do this again
yeah.
because there is no like there is some asset reuse, but like there's not enough to like costs for this were definitely higher than like Platinum.
So yeah, I mean that's the thing is that like I recognize that there are more fundamental changes to Pokemon Black 2 White 2, and it's why I want to revisit it because I didn't get as into it the first time around because like I played a
Yeah.
lot of Black and White and I kind of got to this and I'm like, well, I just like spent a lot of time in this world. I know it's different, but I will still give it a 7, which I believe is the same thing that I gave Black and White. Which,
You gave Black and White. It's easy to find. You except
7.
yeah, 7. Except
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
just not seeing it. Yes.
Yeah, I'll give Black 2 White 2 also a 7, and that's one of those games that if I ever actually get around to replaying it,
Yeah.
would probably go higher. But I probably won't ever replay it because playing an old Pokemon game is a lot of time investment, and I like a lot of the quality of life changes that have happened to that series over
Oh,
the
yes.
years.
No, the thing about Black 2 White 2 versus Black and White is that the the main story, like the main campaign of Black 2 White 2 is fine, but like they put all their investment in the post game. Like you can go battle all of the Gen 1, Gen 2, Gen 3 and Gen 4
Yeah,
trainers and like gym leaders and everything. It's like, what? Like it's just fucking a wild post game.
yeah.
All right, let's keep the controversial games discussion alive and let's talk about Kid Icarus Uprising.
Give that a 9. I adore this game.
Oh,
I
you don't
know
have
it's
carpal tunnel. I see.
yeah, yeah. I'm also lefty, and I still like this game.
Oh my god, how the fuck did you have to use the goddamn Circle Pad
I
Pro?
used the Circle Pad Pro. Also, legitimately, probably I
Fuck.
probably in 2012 probably could have written right-handed. That's how much I played this game.
Fuck.
I like it's. This is probably the peak of my Sakurai appreciation.
Yes,
Is
I
in
mean
Kid Icarus Uprising.
this this game is along with Skyward Sword the peak of what you said for Skyward Sword, which is no, Nintendo just hates disabled people.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
no,
Once again,
this game like fuck, dude, this game's control scheme is so bad.
yeah, like, but it is the kind of thing where I feel like I could say two things in that Nintendo fucking hates disabled people, but also this game's controls worked for me.
Yes, no,
Which is
both of those statements can be true.
yeah,
Like if it works for you, it works for you, and you're the one rating it. I just, holy shit, when you have to ship. This game didn't launch digitally for like 2 years
because it came with the stand.
because they needed. Nintendo felt so opposed to shipping this game without a stand, a literal physical crutch for the control scheme.
Yep.
They literally had to ship a piece of plastic being like, we know this control scheme sucks so much ass that you need to prop the system up.
I use that stand. I use it a lot because I played like I think close to 100 hours of this damn game.
Jesus Christ.
Love the story. I played a ton of the online multiplayer to the point where I was reflecting on this recently in that we did like an online tournament where we had like different people because it was Nintendo in 2012. It was like kind of hard to orchestrate, so we depended on like people being truthful. And there was this whole thing where like somebody like spoofed emails and accounts
God damn it.
trying to in person, and like the winner like got like a $25 gift card. Like that was
Jesus Christ.
yeah, but yeah, I had a great time with the multiplayer, and I really enjoyed the single player. It's a game that I think about replaying, and then I realized I'd have to learn that damn control scheme all again. But
You
in
might
2012 was real good. Was real good with that control scheme.
9 years later, your body might not like it as much.
Yeah, I was younger then. Maybe I'll try to teach my kid. Ruin him now.
On the opposite end of, do not damage your child. Do not get your child taken away because you tried
And I
to
think,
teach them Kid
and I
Icarus
think
Uprising's
a
controls.
crazy thing about Kid Icarus Uprising is something that Chariot Goblin's pointing out in the chat. Legit, the online multiplayer is still populated.
No, I know. I
I,
know
I
that
like
if
I
you.
was curious. I hopped in like 2 years ago. Was like, what the hell? Like,
Yeah,
what are you people doing?
the people that like that game. I'm not saying I
I can tell
dislike
you,
that game. I'm saying I loathe that control scheme.
yeah, yeah. No, like,
The
it is a
contents
tremendous.
are. The soundtrack is legendary. The
Yeah. Oh
contents
my
of the game is
god.
fine.
I love the soundtrack.
Okay, on the opposite end of the score spectrum, Spirit Camera: The Cursed Memoir. Does this
Did
get
it?
a 1 for not functioning?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, I try to avoid using one unless I'm really mad or if it just doesn't work. I don't really know if this game ever properly worked. Give it a one.
This game, for me, the only time that the game actually functioned, as a horror game, was when I put the little booklet that it came with underneath like my stove light, like the light above the stovetop, and then I couldn't see the screen. Wonderful game design, absolute trash. Mario
Uh,
Tennis Open.
um, I think I wound up being a person who probably defended this game a little bit more than most, but like I it's a totally fine Mario Tennis game. I think the online was okay. I'll give it a four. It's not
Yeah,
like
it's
I don't think it's as bad as some people said it. I also don't think it's like terribly great.
it was another case of we need something out on the system.
Yeah.
New Super Mario Brothers 2, which
I
is you could tell me any number other than 1 and I would believe you.
yeah. I probably like this game more than most.
Okay.
I don't think I think like I'll put it this way in that like this is a game like I don't normally 100% games. I 100% at this game, which I think is a testament to it's a little on the easier side when it comes to Mario games. Like
Oh,
I've
yes.
never fully 100%ed New Super Mario Brothers U, a game that I think is better than this.
That's
I think
really
that new
funny because 2 had so much more development time. 2 was like the actual title, and then U was the one where Nintendo scrambled because people received their tech demo well, and it was made by the same Nintendo development division at the
Oh my
same
god.
time.
I
And
did not
2
know
was
that.
the focus.
I
And
did not know that was the full story of New Super Mario Brothers U. That's hilarious.
yes, no, they were like, oh shit, our launch lineup is going to be Nintendo Land Sing Party and maybe a port of Ninja Gaiden. we need to we need to put together New Super Mario Brothers U, which is what makes that so wild that that game is genuinely so fucking good. It was like made faster than I maybe any other Nintendo platformer. Like it maybe had
Yeah.
the shortest
And
development
I
cycle
feel
for any
like
of them.
that almost makes me mad because I feel like if it weren't for New Super Mario Brothers U, people wouldn't hate New Super Mario Brothers 2 so much.
Yep.
Because I think what I really like about New Super Mario Brothers 2, and I do under like it is the kind of thing that like if you were to hold it up to other like, you know, very well received 2D platform or 2D Mario platformers, you can kind of see like, okay, like this is like more of a B team making this game. Because it was as far as I remember with the development of that is it was a lot of like they like that whole like Mario level design school, so to speak,
Oh,
where they
the
were getting new people to make Mario levels,
yes, no,
which
I
is
can
brilliant.
I can fucking tell you the exact story of this, which is that the the division that made this and you was a new division that was like, we're gonna put all our new hires here,
Yeah.
and they're gonna make this, and then they ended up making 2D Mario platformers at the same time in a super tight development schedule, and when they came out on the other side, Nintendo basically came down to them and said, or like Nintendo House were like, all right, what do you want to work on next? And they said, better tools. And then they made Mario Maker. And Mario
That
Maker
rules.
came because they had to make two 2D platformer Mario games in such short succession that they wanted to make better tools. And then basically they said, yes, if we could put Miyamoto's name on it.
so I so what I love about that is that so you have like how 2D Mario had developed over the past decade was New Super Mario Bros. 2 had some like honest development time onto it. Nintendo panicked and forced out New Super Mario Bros. U, which in turn made the development team want the desire for better tools. So then
Yes.
Mario Maker happened, was very well received, and then Nintendo seemingly didn't give two shits about Super Mario Maker 2, and now who knows if we'll ever see another Mario Maker.
Hell yeah. Yeah,
Like what a wild decade for 2D Mario.
Yep, that's pretty much the
It's basically
course.
they went from this is our most important launch lineup on our worst system ever to maybe we just won't fucking do this anymore.
Yes.
Um,
So New Super Mario Bros. 2, you never gave a score.
I'll give it a 7.
Okay.
I think some of the gold stuff, like it's a really cool twist because it's a very small tweak that reconsiders how you play 2D Mario games, and I do think that some of the level design is it's fine. And the fact like they overuse Reznor, which is a phrase that I never thought I would say. I love Reznor. And then the DLC stuff was actually pretty cool with some of like the runner things that they messed around with.
Yeah,
Like it was a really neat game.
This is also in the West. This is the first Nintendo game to have paid DLC. In Japan, of course, that was Fire Emblem Awakening, but that had to get localized. Art Academy Lessons for Everyone for the 3DS.
5. The Art Academy games are real solid. I think this might be the best one.
I would agree to disagree. I think there's a better one coming up later.
Okay. No, I was thinking non-licensed Art Academy games.
I was thinking the Wii U one.
Oh shit!
That they made because of Miiverse artists.
Yeah.
I
forgot that came out.
Yep. Crosswords Plus.
A totally fine crosswords game. Give it a 5.
All right, the first great one. Style Savvy Trendsetters.
I am not so. I know that you are the zealot for the series. I'm not as high on this game as you are, but they are still really like, especially post I guess after the first one, they're just really well made.
Yes.
I'll give this one 7.
Okay. That's the lowest score I would accept. Kidding. Professor Layton and the Miracle Mask.
It's hard. I really like the Layton games, but the more that I actually shout out to I don't know if he watches your streams, but he's definitely like an NWR listener reader, Dan from Canada, who was asking me about like he got a like a new 2DS XL and was asking like, oh, are there any 3DS games that you recommend? And I'm like, I've been kicking around doing some 3DS stuff. Maybe I'll just go through and just rank my top 50 3DS games and like make that content for the websites. And once again, you heard it here first. I might do something like that around the anniversary in a couple weeks.
I mean, you're ranking all the first party 3DS games now, so like
yeah.
Not that hard to extrapolate from this data. I can just send you the Excel spreadsheet.
But I realized as I thought about it more that the Layton games that are on 3DS just really make me mad because I think that like it's like especially Unwound Future, which I like that's the pinnacle of the series, and like London Life was really cool. Lance Spector's totally fine, and it's just the move to 3D, the almost like the more overwrought nature of the story. Like I felt like there was a little bit more like. I feel like Miracle Mask and Azran Legacy like try to do so much with like overall Layton world building that they lose the thread of what made the stories of the first couple really good.
Azran Legacy is a lot more on that. I think personally I think that Miracle Mask is the weakest of the 6, but I don't dislike it.
Yeah, like the only Layton game I legitimately I've never played Layton Brothers, but like Catriel Layton is just
Layton Brothers is completely different and it's not very good at what it does.
Yeah. But like the only one I really don't like is the Layton. I forgot what they even called it. The Catriel Layton game.
And the
Millionaire something.
Millionaire Conspiracy.
Yep. Yeah, that was it.
Yep. Which existed so that they could launch a Saturday morning cartoon that was just a case of the week.
How level 5 of them?
Yes, and the show was better than the game.
That makes sense. How very level 5 of them.
Yes.
I'll give Miracle Mask a 6 because
Okay.
I think this one like Azran Legacy is probably I'll probably go like 5 with that because that's when I was playing through Azran Legacy and realized like I don't know if I want to play any more of these games, and then I played the Catch Rail Layton game and was like, yep, I was right.
Azran Legacy at least gets the distinction of being just fucking gorgeous.
It does look really good.
It's so beautiful. Whereas Miracle Mask has the unfortunate situation of being a launch game that came out a year and a half after in the
Yeah,
West because they had to go ahead and release the fourth game while they were demoing an English build of the fifth game at E3.
I remember that.
That was
That was weird.
Freaky
Poor
Forms
Last
Deluxe.
Spectre.
Yes,
3.
3. Paper Mario Sticker Star.
Give this shit. You know what? Actually, give it a 3. The soundtrack is great. The visuals are awesome.
I just heard you fluctuate between 2, 1, and then 3. I
Yep.
think.
Yeah. That was definitely it. One would have been a spite one. It wouldn't have been earned. But like, no, legitimately, the music and the visuals in that game are very good. Everything else about it can
Okay,
fuck
but
right
what
off.
about a spite one?
I mean, for Sakura Samurai.
No, not a spite one for Sakura Samurai. A spite one for Sticker Star. Hear me
Yeah,
out.
fuck it. Give it a spite one. I don't need to take a lot of convincing.
Hell yeah, fuck Sticker
It
Star.
it basically set us on the path that we are now, where there are legitimately great Paper Mario games that people are just really mad at about all the
Yeah,
time.
now Sticker Star poisoned the well so bad that people don't want to play Color Splash and Origami King.
And I
It's
will
so
say,
good that people don't want to. It's so bad that people don't want to play good games.
yeah. And like for me, like did not play Color Splash for like 4 years, and then
It's
played
so,
it was like, oh, this game's really good.
yeah, that game's fucking amazing. Okay, for real, the Sakura Samurai.
I wish this is better than it was because it should have been like Samurai Punch Out. It's not. It's okay. Give it like a 3.
Okay, Dylan's Rolling Western #1.
I fucking hate the first Dylan's Rolling Western. Give it a 2.
Quetzal's Corridors. What if we made Through Space racist? What if we took our game that was just blue Tetris pieces on a white void and decided, what if Aztec ruins?
Like I will say, it's totally a fine game. And then you had to remind me that it's just racist. Give it a 3.
I did have to remind you. I'm sorry. 3D Classics Kid Icarus.
You can't necessarily like I mean, give it a 5. I think it's a really good 3D classic of a mediocre to bad game, but I think it's also the best version of Kid Icarus.
That's not hard. So, look. Alright. So, Sparkle Snapshots in 2009 was a DSiWare app that you gave a 1 to. It is a photo booth app where you could add glitter to your photos, and it was made by Atlas and published by Nintendo. This is the sequel, Sparkle Snapshots 3D. It costs $6, I think.
Give it a 1 again.
Okay.
I remember when this came out and remember being like, wow, Atlas made a 3DS game that, oh, no.
Yeah, it's called SMT Double Survivor Overclocked. Don't pay no attention to Sparkle Snapshots 3D.
I
Um,
remember I remember when Pokemon Dream Raider came out. I don't
yeah,
remember anything about Pokemon Dream Radar. I
it's
don't even think it was really a game.
it's Face Raiders, except you can import characters into the DS games Black 2 and White 2 because they had to have some level of 3DS functionality even though they were DS games.
Was this a free app?
No, it was not. It was like $8.
Give it a 2.
Pokédex 3D Pro.
Um, give
This
it a
was
3.
$15.
Yeah, give it a 3.
Crash.
I know. For Zach Miller's panel that we did at PAX South right before the entire world shut down,
Yes.
in which he went over. Oh God, I'm gonna have to pronounce the word. The oh God, no, it's not the head one. Phonology
Yes.
of He did the phonology of the first 151 Pokemon. Um, he bought Pokedex 3D Pro for that, so it
Amazing.
has one use for a
Excellent.
gimmicky PAX panel that people really enjoyed. And then Zach went on to like give a legit talk about that at an actual anthropology conference.
Amazing.
We're gonna whenever events happen again, we're gonna expand the scope to. I think the plan was to do gold and silver.
Okay. Crashmo.
I am a crash mode defender.
It
I like
breaks
the
my
more
brain.
like I think so. It's one of those things where I think I've just realized that I have a higher capacity for puzzle game bullshit than most people. And I will say that Crash Mo is one that like it will break your brain.
Oh
Um,
no. What does that say about the puzzle games that I've worked on that you like? Oh no.
oh well, fun story. Probably not the greatest idea. Because now he just wants to play the iPad all the time. But showed my kid that well, there was like a PBS app that we had him. He's
Yeah.
into Daniel Tiger. It's good, better education stuff. But I did bring up Monsters Expedition, and he does not really understand what you're doing in the game, but he likes opening it and looking at the visuals. So
It's very pretty.
progress. Yeah, no, that game's fantastic.
But yeah, Crashmo.
Crash Mode, I'll give that an 8.
Okay. And then Fluidity Spin Cycle.
Did we do fluidity on WiiWare?
Yes, we did.
I think. Oh, yeah, you know what? That was at the tail end
Let
of.
me see. You gave it an 8.
Okay. I'll give this one a 6. I was actually revisiting this recently as I was doing my ranking on the 3DS games. I like Spin Cycle. I do wish that I like the Metroidvania aspects of the first Fluidity more, but I do kind of see like the level based stuff being maybe better for a wider market.
Yeah. There are 3 ones, and we got a 5.06. In the year that gave us Rhythm Heaven Fever and Kid Icarus Uprising, we also got Sticker
I think,
Stars, Marvel
yeah,
Snapshots 3D, and Spirit Camera.
yeah, I think it's the kind of thing where like the 5 makes sense because it was largely an average year, and the really good things got canceled out by crap.
Yep. Here's the that's the secrets to all of these is that again, for the most part, there are exceptions that you've already proven, but for the most part, the ones that have more games tends to get lower scores.
Yeah, because
All
there's
right.
more chance for there to be absolute shit.
Lego City Undercover. And now
Oh
before you say
God.
anything, I want you to wait 2.5 minutes to load.
Uh,
Let me find some generic cop procedural music to play under the load screen.
it's like it sucks because I think there was potential in this game, and I think a lot of it is like fun and clever, but it just like barely kind of functioned on Wii U.
And then they ported it to Switch and it loaded faster, but it ran worse.
Yeah, that was also weird. I'll give this one a 4.
Okay. Game Game and Wario, and at this point we are at E3. We have
Uh,
gotten
give give that one. Oh man, no, the Franks game is really good though.
we have gotten to E3 and we are at game number 2.
Um,
Fuck, the Wii U was such a
I
disaster.
was just gonna say like 5 for Game and Wario, but I don't like the Franks. Like some of the multiplayer stuff in that is really fun, and give it a 6.
Okay. I like Miiverse Sketch. I
Yeah,
like
that was what I was also thinking. Miiverse Sketch, the gamer stuff is fun,
I
and
like
the
the
Franks game is really fun too.
I like the puzzle game, even though it had nothing to. It was not Wii U specific at all. It was just
Yeah,
anything with a
yeah,
touchscreen could run that.
yeah,
So like people didn't pay attention to it because it was doing nothing interesting, but it was still really well designed and it had like fucking like 400 levels or something. It was like super long, and I got into that for a while.
yeah. Like I think Game and Wario gets too much shit for what it is. The reason why that happened is because it was the second game that came out in 2013 on Wii U, and it was
Yes.
June.
Yes. All right, August time. Pikmin 3.
Give that a 9. That game's fantastic.
Wonderful 101.
Oh no.
There is no number you can say that will make people happy.
Give.
Just be honest.
I will say I like like Kamiya's work. I really like Beautiful Joe.
Oh no,
Bayonetta's a real good game. Wonderful 101 is just not a good game.
it's
I
not.
even I even played it on fucking Switch, being like, maybe I could approach it differently and enjoy it. Like, no, like it should be good, but they decided to just give it like convoluted controls and dipshit gameplay.
Yes.
And it ruined like what should have been a slam dunk fun action game and made it bad. Give it a 3.
New Super Luigi U.
Um,
You could buy it on a disc on its own, even so. Super counts.
I'm gonna give this one a 6. I like the concept of it, but I did not like it as much as I liked New Super Mario Bros. U or New Super Mario Bros. 2. I think it is priced reasonably for what it is, though.
Okay. Pokemon Rumble U, which was a $15 eShop version of Pokemon Rumble, except it had blind bag
Oh my
NFC
god.
figurines that were of super low quality.
I'll give that one a 3.
Legend of Zelda Wind Waker HD.
I
Right
will
up
give that
top.
one a. I'm gonna give that a 10.
Okay.
It made a game like I think the GameCube version of Wind Waker is great but flawed, and I think they kind of took out flaws.
Yep. No, they fixed Wind Waker.
Yeah, I hope they
Um,
do the same with Skyward Sword. Just
I hope
I'm
so
gonna be
too.
I'm gonna be optimistic. I don't think it's gonna happen the way I want. But
Sure
I'm
as
gonna
shit
be
isn't.
optimistic.
But I am also I can also have optimism that Skyward
Yeah.
Sword will receive the Wind Waker HD treatment.
It's kind of the way I look at it with Skyward Sword HD is that I would rather be optimistic. It's like so.
Yes.
You know what? I'll make this extremely real, too real for a Skyward Sword conversation. So I'm having my second kid in June.
Yes.
Um, when there was a first positive pregnancy test, there was a little bit where like okay, like this, we don't know if this is totally gonna happen. Like it was the kind of thing where like, is that a line or not?
Yep.
And my wife and I decided that we're just gonna pretend that we're gonna have a kid
Yep.
and be happy about it. That's how I feel about Skyward Sword HD. That I'm just gonna pretend that it's gonna be the best outcome, and then if it's not the best outcome, then I can be real sad about it then. But
Yes.
until I know that, they didn't really do anything to fix Fee in the HD version.
Yeah.
Until that happens, I'm going to be optimistic and hope that they're going to fix it.
I think GX hits the nail on the head, which is that it's probably gonna be more like Twilight Princess, where they optimize it slightly.
Yeah, and I will say, I mean, like it's a slight optimization with Twilight Princess, but a really impactful one, which is like Wind Waker. I think probably needed more work and got more work, and Twilight Princess. I mean, I'm trying to. So what is like fixable and bad about the original Twilight Princess?
Cut
that
40%.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
Cut 40% of the game out. That
Yeah,
makes Twilight
that's
Princess better.
fair.
Make Wolf Link more interesting. Dole out the story at a reasonable pace.
Yeah. I do think that
It's
the
a-
changes that they made to like the tiers of light or whatever the hell they're called, like
Yes.
that was great.
Oh
That
yes,
was
that's something I think is
Yeah.
I forgot was even in Skyward Sword until you just said those words. The fucking scavenger hunt levels.
I do. So
Those are probably
I
gonna
will.
get optimized.
Yeah, and they could probably stand for optimization, but I do have to say that I think especially compared to the Tears of Light crap in Twilight Princess, I think the Skyward Sword stuff was better to begin with because
Oh
I think
yes.
that having that later, like I think the difference between Twilight Princess and Skyward Sword with that is that Twilight Princess is like, you have just come to this new area, find a bunch of bullshit. Skyward Sword is like, this is a late game. You've spent 10 hours in each of these areas. Now be chased by these fucking demon things and
Yes.
find all these tears. And like that was really cool because it's like, okay, no, like I know a shortcut here. I know how to
Yes.
avoid this, and it was a good tense sequence.
Yes, no, to be clear, I think Skyward Sword is a better game than Twilight Princess. I think
Yeah.
Twilight Princess needed more work than Wind Waker, but in a way that it was never going to get.
Yeah, because I don't
that's
think
a
that I
remake,
don't.
not a remaster.
You know what? I think the more time that I think about Wind Waker versus Twilight Princess or Skyward Sword is that maybe it was better that Wind Waker like was rushed and didn't have every dungeon that might have been planned for it in.
I think
Maybe
Wind
maybe
Waker
that
was
was
better for not having all that content.
Yeah, like there is that moment when I initially was like, "Ah, Jabba Jabba's here. This could be a dungeon," and it's like, psych. Like in 2003, I was kind of pissed off about that. But as I reflect upon it, like no, I think it kind of keeps the flow of the game better, and it does emphasize more of the stronger elements of that, which are sailing the sea and exploring that. Like, and that's what the Triforce Quest does so well, is that that is not a concrete like here is a dungeon where you get an item and do stuff, but it encourages you to sail throughout the world to find things. I mean, Wind Waker is almost aspects of Breath of the Wild before Breath of the Wild did them.
Yep. But yes, no, Wind Waker HD. I'm not disagreeing. I'm just saying, like, in terms of like the answer to your question of what would you have changed about Twilight Princess, we need like 30 minutes to go over that conversation because I do not think Twilight Princess works on a game design level.
I totally get that. I think for me, everything on Hyrule Field. Honestly, Twilight Princess would probably be better if they just didn't have a Hyrule Field.
Yes, that is one of the things on my.
Just have it. You leave a town, you go on just a point-to-point map.
Literally, yes. Fast travel.
Maybe there's like maybe there's just like a when you like try to go to Hyrule Castle Town or whatever, it's just like, oh no, you gotta fight on a bridge, like you got attacked, like, but just have it on like on a Mario World map.
Yes, no, genuinely, that would be better.
Yeah, because the dungeons are fine in Twilight Princess, but we can move on, or else we'll be here forever. I can talk about the fucking Zelda games for days. Wii Party U's awesome. I think it's super fun. Give it a 7.
That's another game that they refused to issue digitally because it came with a stand.
Yeah, I can see the stand. For some reason, it's
Why?
out.
Neal?
I think it's because I didn't want to throw it away, and it's like my kid played with the Wii U crap and left it out, and it's on a bookshelf.
Neal,
it's not actually being used. It's just a piece of practice that is in front of a book.
Are you the only person in the world that didn't work on that game that knows where their Wii Party U stand is in 2021? It's you and Don, probably.
I do, but like the baseball thing in that was super fun, and like it was a better Mario. It was the best Mario Party game on Wii U.
It is. Yes, you were not wrong. It is very good. It's just about have basically the equivalent of having the weird plastic crap that it came with within arm's reach.
Yeah.
We fit you.
This is when they were like, I assume Nintendo was panicking, being like, fuck, what do we do?
Put it out for free. And then you can get a pedometer and keep it.
Oh yeah, I remember the pedometer.
Yes, because it was a free download, and you could use it for like 2 months, but for free, and then you could pay. Or if you got a pedometer, you could like sync the pedometer to the console, and then it would just keep the free version forever.
It's a totally fine version of Wii Fit. I'll give it a 6.
I appreciate that they're like in the intro reveal of the Wii U, that sizzle reel, they were like, oh, you're not even going to need to wait for the console to fully boot up to just like do
oh my god,
to do a body check.
So optimistic.
And I appreciate that because it implies that the slow part in the process of launching Wii Fit U was going to be turning on and configuring the TV. And not the Wii U. Wii Sports Club.
This is where we get to the weird part where, like, are these factually better versions of the Wii Sports games?
No.
I mean... No.
They broke boxing for one.
Oh, God, yeah.
No. Like, even talking about, like, there's an artistic argument to be made about, like, the simplicity of Wii Sports versus, like, having to actually be precise in your inputs. But then, like, even separated from that, fundamentally, one of the five sports was broken. Yeah.
And also just the method that this was released was...
weird.
Bizarre.
$10 for a sport, or $2 for all sports for 48 hours. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know what? You harped on the fact about, like, simplicity was what made Wii Sports work. If I hated my parents and got them a Wii U, they would have no idea how to play Wii Sports. Whereas when I got my Wii U, I just gave my parents my Wii because I played a lot of Wii Sports with them. And like, there was like a year, probably like 2012, 2013, where like my dad would be like, I got a really good score in Wii Sports Golf. Guess what? They're never doing that with a Wii U.
Yep.
So for that matter, I think it actually, I had a lot of fun with tennis and bowling on Wii Sports Club. I did not play as much of the other ones. I did play boxing once and was like, well, they fucked that up and then put it away.
Yep.
But I think on the fundamental level of like they fucked up Wii Sports by making it like obtuse, I will give this game a 4.
Mario and Sonic at the Sochi 2014 Olympic Winter Games, and people were wondering why the Wii U failed. Here we are in its first full year, and we've had Lego City Undercover, Game & Wario, Pikmin 3 is good,
Sochi,
Wonderful 101, New Super Luigi U DLC for the last year's game, Pokemon Rumble U, which is insulting, Wind Waker HD, which is great but it's a remake, Wii Party U, Wii Fit U, Wii Sports Club, and now Mario and Sonic at the Sochi 2014 Olympic
I forgot. You know what? I'm going to give this one a 4 in the honor of I went to the reception on Wikipedia.
Yes.
And former Nintendo World Report writer and friend of the site eternally, Scott Thompson, did the freelance review for this for IGN and gave it a 4.5 out of 10.
4 it is.
So I'll round that down and give it a 4.
Super Mario 3D World.
I have to do this based on the Wii U version and not the Switch version, which I think is better. I will give this one a 7.
Okay. NES Remix, which is a novel idea with games that you don't want to play.
Yeah, and I think you know what, I'm gonna look to see what games are on this one.
Ice Climber, Pinball, Clue Land.
Okay, cool. There's just a tab that I can leave open to look at all 3 NES Remix games when we get to them.
Excellent.
Yeah, so the second NES Remix is the good one. This is still a super novel idea, and I think stuff like the Super Mario Brothers and Legend of Zelda stuff is awesome.
Yeah, here's the fucked up part is they like in terms of inspiring with novelty, they had one shot and they knew that, so they threw all the games that they knew you wouldn't buy separately because they knew that they could just charge again and get double the money if they sell you NES Remix 2 also. But NES Remix 1 has fucking terrible games. Yeah,
like Pinball's awful. And it's stuff like baseball and golf, which I mean, as talked about earlier here, I don't think they're bad, but like there's not a lot to them.
Yep.
And like Urban Champions here, like
fuck yes.
Like I do think like NES, and it makes me sad that this concept of remix in the way that they did and granted it gets a lot more complicated to do it once you move to like Super Nintendo. I did like with as a way to explore old games.
Why not
in a
Game Boy
new
Remix?
Manner. Yeah, no, that would be super cool.
God.
Because it's like, no, like you don't want to let someone go play NES Golf, or even we can even dunk on Pinball, which is a garbage game, but like you can play the NES Remix stuff here and be like, oh, that's why it's garbage. Yes. And it gives you a very clear way without you actually having to sit through playing Pinball like from start to finish. You can just play the little snippets there. But oh man, the way they did Legend is like, I love what they did with Zelda in this version. I'll give it a 6, even if there are crappy games, largely for the concept of it.
Yes. Closing out the year of Luigi on Wii U is Dr. Luigi.
I'll give this one a 4. It's a fine version of Dr. Mario.
I don't know what you're talking about. It's not Dr. Mario. The pills are L-shaped. It's totally different.
Yeah, I think this is the one where they had. I think there was online. I think they also had an adaptation of the Brain Age, like Virus. What was it, Virus Buster or whatever?
Virus Buster's been in almost all the Dr. Mario.
Okay. Since the Brain Age one, but I know it was here.
Yes. All right. Fire Emblem Awakening.
I'll give that one an 8.
Ooh. Why so low? Just curious.
Screw it. I'll give it a 9.
Okay. I was just curious.
No. Well, I guess my thing is that one, I think personally for me, there's probably a limit to how much I can like a Fire Emblem game. Like it's not my favorite series. I
Gotcha.
appreciate it. I play a lot of them. Um, I think what I had to remember there is that like I got so into the stupid future baby marrying crap. Like that was so much fun.
It's a good dating sim.
Yeah, like it is astoundingly fun to do all that stuff.
Yep.
I do know it did get to the point, and they think they, if memory serves, I think they basically kind of fixed this in Three Houses. But I did hate when it like got to that point where you're basically like, okay, I guess these two people are just going to eternally be next to each other because I want to pair them off. And like
Yeah.
some of the like assistance stuff of having people on two spaces, like kind of I felt like tilted some of the strategy in a way that I didn't like.
Yeah, that can be fair. Your Three Houses dramatically decreased the focus spent on the romance.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
Three Houses is not a dating sim, whereas Fates is basically nothing but.
Yeah.
Well,
we haven't gotten to Fates yet, but
one
I'm
of
not
the
going to
at least one of the two of the
Yeah.
Fates. Games.
But yeah, it is kind of. This was also thinking about it with Fire Emblem Awakening. Is I feel like I haven't really played it since probably like I don't know when did the DLC wrap up because I did kind of pay attention to that.
Like
Probably
summer fall 2013.
Yeah, like and I had a lot of fun with that game in 2013, and I kind of moved on to it and like played other Fire Emblem games. So I feel like Fire Emblem Awakening is the kind of game that if I were to sit down and replay, maybe I would just be like, oh, this is why I like this one so much. This is why it kind of made me excited about the series for the first time in a while until Fates like took that feeling out back and shot it in the head.
Oh, come on. It's not that bad.
I don't like Fates.
Brain Age concentration training.
I played. Oh God, what was the?
There were like
there were like two modes, and I think I played a lot of like the Spider Solitaire in this or something.
Jesus.
I forget. It was a game that I wound up like playing way more of than I thought I would. I don't. Is it the best Brain Age game? I don't think so. It's
I
good
haven't played
though.
the one on Switch.
I think the one on Switch dies because it doesn't have a stylus. Well, so it did come with a stylus, but like, where the fuck am I putting that on the Switch?
Yeah.
Like, it's not like there's a spot to hold it. And that fundamentally ruins Brain Age. It's a decent Sudoku machine. The Switch version is, and it'll never come to America apparently. But concentration training, let's give it a 6 for the devil.
Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Gates to Infinity. Do you remember the gimmick of this one?
No.
You used the cameras to take pictures of circles in the world, any circle.
Oh my god!
And the details of that picture was what was the seed for your randomly generated dungeon.
Give that a 3.
Okay.
That's
3 for
actually
3.14.
Yeah. I do think that is an astoundingly stupid and kind of fun idea, but also like what?
Yes. Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon.
Give that an 8.
3DS had a fucking banger year, and you're gonna see this and be reminded of this through the entire Wii U generation. Of 3DS is gonna have banger year after banger year while Wii U is floundering.
Yup. Although, you know what a banger game is not? The next one, Lego City Undercover: The Chase Begins. I give that one a 3.
I didn't know if you were going to say 2, 3, or 4, but yes. DKC Returns 3D, ripped Monster Games and Nintendo collaboration.
So I will say that
oh no, they did Xenoblade.
Yeah, Xenoblade I think was their farewell tour. Although didn't they helped out with Tropical Freeze, but I think that was after. I think Xenoblade was after that. Yeah. What did I give the first Donkey Kong Country Returns?
That was
2010.
2008.
Or no, I think it was 10.
Oh, that was 2010. You're right. 6.
I will give the 3DS version a 7. I think it's a better version of that game.
New Leaf.
Ooh.
We don't have time for an hour-long story on this one, unfortunately, but
yeah. I'll go 8.
Okay. Mario and Luigi Dream Team.
4.
This is when the series quality really just starts plummeting.
Yeah. Although I mean, and I'll just spoil it. Paper Jam's gonna be higher.
Okay. Paper Jam just felt like it never found it just felt like its cadence just kept changing constantly for me.
At least it didn't feel as drawn out as Stream Team.
Oh yes, no, it was shorter. Um, Pokemon X and Y. Speaking of series quality plummeting for a little bit there.
4.
Yep. Legend of Zelda: Link Between Worlds. Speaking of series quality plummeting.
I'll go 7 with that. It is like because I think James also probably, I mean, he probably was thinking about it maybe when you guys talked about it here,
Yes.
but it came up in the NWR Discord recently where he kind of went over what he didn't like about it. And I like so much about Link Between Worlds, but thinking about how they handle like you can go to whatever dungeon you want, like it really just, it's only if you're terrible at the game does it really have any meaningful impact. And it does, like, it really hit me on a replay of the game where I got to that back half and was like, oh yeah, like none of these are really harder than the other. You're just checking a list.
Yes, and none of the dungeons can require more than it takes to get in.
Yeah, and it is. I mean, it's interesting thinking about Link Between Worlds and what came with Breath of the Wild, where Breath of the Wild just basically like, here's the tools that you need, like just go out there, and did it more effectively than Link Between Worlds. But
yes.
I think Link Between Worlds, like Skyward Sword, is extremely important to how Zelda is developing and how it's becoming.
Also, the individual puzzles in Link Between Worlds were bad puzzles.
Yeah, I can't argue with that much. I don't think they're terrible puzzles, but there was a period where I thought that Link to the Past was like, oh, everybody says it's the best 2D Zelda game, but oh no, what about all these other ones? And I still think Minish Cap might hold a candle to Link to the Past, but no other 2D Zelda game does.
Yep. Mario Party Island Tour.
Ooh. A funny story about this, our reviewer for this, which, I mean, she just really liked the game, Kim Keller, but she was like the only reviewer who gave it a positive review. So I think if you look at like Nintendo marketing of the era, like every Mario Party thing, it's just like, look, Nintendo Report gave it like an 8 or 9 out of 10. And it just made it funny because like I played this game and was like, ooh, I did not like this. But she legitimately really liked the game. Like I can't fault it. But it was just funny because no one else really liked the game. We just got used in all of the marketing.
Amazing.
I'll give this a 4.
Came out the same day as Link Between Worlds and 3D World because they are disasters over there at Nintendo.
Another short story on that is Nintendo was still sending out physical copies, and I had moved.
Oh no!
I moved. Oh god!
I know where this goes. I know where this is going.
So I moved the beginning of the year. Yeah. So it would have, I think, like Luigi's Mansion, Lego City Undercover was the first, like when I got like review copies sent to the new place. They sent all 3 games. This was like 2 weeks before release to my old apartment. To when the PR rep confirmed this with me, I immediately got in my car, drove 40 minutes to my old apartment, and just took them. They were just in front of my old apartment door, and I just took them and left. I was like, am I gonna have to knock on the door? What am I gonna do? Like, this is a disaster. And like, it was the kind of thing where like the PR rep, realized that they messed up. Because it was just like they happened to glance at it. They just picked the old address for the mailing. But I thankfully got them. But it was like this panicked 40 minutes where I'm like, oh, this is gonna be terrible. This is gonna be terrible. And then just took them, stole mail. I guess not really.
It's not stealing mail if it's literally just meant for you and has your name on the phone.
Avoided an awkward conversation with whoever moved into my old apartment.
Yes. Tokyo Crash Mobs.
I will give this a 6, largely because it's ridiculous.
Kersploosh by the developers of Room in the Night Sky.
I'll give this one is this gonna be the 1? This is gonna be a 1. It's bad.
Okay. Harmonite.
I'll give that a 7. I think it's a very enjoyable game.
Dylan's Rolling Western: The Last Ranger.
I'll give that one a 4. I think it's slightly better than the first one.
Mario and Donkey Kong Minis on the Move, and this is really the era where you're going to need to be Googling every single one of these.
Okay. Yeah, because I need to make sure. Is this the one?
This is the one that was on...
They dramatically changed, or
it's like the grid-based system that you're walking around and laying different tracks on. This was in like 6 different Nintendo Directs.
Yeah, okay, yeah, yeah. You know what? I think there's a sneaking suspicion I might have reviewed this, so I'm gonna see what I gave it initially and probably lower it too. Um, oh, I did. Um, I enjoyed it. I gave it an 8.5 back in the day.
Wow.
With that, I'll give it a 6
Okay.
because I do remember having really positive thoughts of that game. I will point out that my 8.5 not that far off of the overall meta score of 78.
Okay. That's fair. 2014. All right, Wii U time. Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, the $50 version.
I'll give that one a 8.
This was the year that was going to save Wii U. Remember, every game was going to be the one that saved Wii U, except for the downloadable ones.
And it's
NES
funny
Remix
because
2.
if they had Mario Maker and Splatoon earlier, maybe. But
NES no, no. NES Remix 2. This
I'll
has all
give
the good
that one
ones.
I'll give that one a 7 because the content is so much better. Actually, no, give it an 8. I'll give it an 8.
Speaking of Mario Kart 8,
So I gave this a 7.5 and then people thought I should die,
uh
which
huh.
is pretty fucked up. I still am blown away. It was legitimately shocking when people were giving this 9s and 10s. Had no idea. The only person that I had talked to about this review before it went up was Don, who also gave it a 7.5 out of 10. And we were talking about where, like, it's good. It looks really nice, but they just didn't. It's just fucking Mario Kart again. Like, there's okay, you could do some video editing.
But
Like
Neil,
that
it's
was
in
the hook.
HD this time, and the
Yeah,
tires go blue.
yeah, and like at some points, like it's like F-Zero where you can go on the side, but your perspective doesn't change at all. It does add a new element, I guess, where you can like bump into people and get a boost, but it's not like you get to see you going upside down. Um, like, and
But Neil, it adds
I
drums to the last lap of every track. If you're in first,
yeah,
or if you're in first place.
yeah. But I just to this day, I don't get it because it's just like it's okay. It is a good Mario Kart game, but it doesn't feel that dramatically different from what came before it, other than it looking more pretty.
But Neil has a bad battle mode.
Yeah, and it did have a bad battle mode, and there wasn't really any meaningful single player content to do because instead of like on Mario Kart Wii and Mario Kart DS, which were two games that I got really into because it was like, oh, if you beat 150cc on this, like you'll unlock Dry Bowser or Rob or whatever, and like that was super cool to have specific things to strive for. And then in Mario Kart 8, it's basically like, I don't know, just keep playing, people just unlock. Um, like the game feels good, the racing feels good. Everything else about it, the fact that like it's just four players split screen, they didn't really do anything with the gamepad. Like
Uh,
it's not a
mm,
okay.
they didn't do
Wario's
anything good,
Wario,
but they did something memorable with the gamepad.
yeah, Wario does fart when you honk his horn. Um,
Very
I will
important.
point out my son discovered that while playing Mario Kart 8 on Wii U
Oh
while
no.
I was working one day, and I'm just like, what the hell is happening? And I realized he was just hitting the Wario fart horn. Um, but I like I and I'm gonna give this game a 6 because I don't think it's a bad game. I just think it's not a 9 or a 10.
That's fair.
And apparently that was worthy of people telling me to go fucking die.
Yep. Gotta love Nintendo fans.
Yep.
Pushmo World.
Totally fine Pushmo game. I think we're getting to the point where Pushmo is unfortunately kind of buried into the ground because every game kind of fundamentally feels the same.
There's only 4
And
Pushmo games.
yeah. Well, no, wasn't there? So there was
There's Pushmo, Crashmo, Pushmo
Crashmo
World, Stretchmo.
and Stretchmo. But I think the thing is like they gave you so much content in that initial Pushmo that I
Oh,
do really
they're all lush with content for some reason.
yeah. Yeah, and it's the kind of thing where like you could have split that out. You could have made it like Picross, where like just put out a Pushmo like once every other year, and we'd be good. Um, I'll give this one a 7. I remember it being totally fine.
Hyrule Warriors.
I'll give this one a 7.
Bayonetta 1.
Bayonetta 1, I will give a 6.
Bayonetta 2.
I will give that one an 8.
Super Smash Bros. For Wii U.
Oh. I'll I'll give that one a 6,
Ooh.
I think. Yeah. So I think it's good. Wait, shit, what did I give Brawl? I might just be being too
You
unnecessarily
gave Brawl a
harsh.
9.
What the fuck? Um
Huh?
I'll go I'm gonna give this one a 7.
Okay.
I think that single player mode, oh wait, well no, I guess what single player mode? The
Classic mode.
fucking board game mode that should have been good but is terrible. I will say, Smash 3DS, I'm gonna give a 9 too. Um,
Okay, I'll go ahead just write that down.
because I think Smash 3DS is probably the best way to play that version of Smash Brothers. Sure, the controls are somewhat compromised, but like Smash Run is incredible, and the fact that it even runs on a 3DS is very impressive.
Captain Toad Treasure Tracker.
I'll give that one an 8. That's a super fun game.
Alright. Now that we're done with the banger year on Wii U, this year was mixed on 3DS, to say the least. Bravely Default.
So this is a tough one because I think that the narrative bullshit is both terrible and really awesome at the same time because it fucks with the conventions of video games.
Yeah, but you still have to play through it.
Yeah, that's the problem. Is that like I love the fundamental idea of what they're trying to do and they just don't pull it off that well. That being said, I think the battle system is fantastic and a lot of the tools that they give you to kind of like tweak the gameplay is super good. Give it a 6.
Okay. Yeah, that's the most 6 out of 10 SJRPG.
Yeah,
Professor
like
Layton,
I really like the first Bravely Default, but like then you replay it 4 times and then you're finished at once.
My fiance played just the first loop for the first time last year. I forgot how weirdly hard that game goes on about like NPCs sexualizing minors.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
game,
There's a character in that game
I
that could be shot
forgot
into the sun.
that. I don't know if I forgot that because I wanted to forget that, but I don't know. Bravely Second is like,
Yeah.
for me, not to get ahead of ourselves, I would put Bravely Second also at a 6 for completely different reasons.
Yeah, no, I think I agree with that.
And then I have no idea what BD2 is going to be, but my guess
I have
is
to know.
a
I'm gonna
6.
play it. I have to know.
My guess is a 6 is the highest it can achieve.
Probably.
Maybe it'll
At least,
be
like,
lucky
Bravely-
and be above a 4.
At least Bravely Default, Bravely Second, like look nice on their systems.
Uh-huh.
Like that's
At least they did
that's-
look good. You're right.
yeah. Music was pretty good. I guess the music should be good in Bravely Default too as well.
Hopefully. Professor
They
Layton
brought
and the
Rebo
Azran
back.
Legacy.
Give that one a 5.
Okay. Yoshi's New Island. Hang on. Let me try to pull up music.
I'm going to say I think the gameplay is probably a 5 out of 10. However, I know what you're doing, and that is why I'm not giving it a 5 out of 10. I'll give this one a 3.
What the fuck were they thinking?
I once again, I will say the gameplay in this in Yoshi's New Island, 5 out of 10. Everything else about it, yikes.
Respectfully disagree. I would give the gameplay a 3 and the music a 2. But then again, I just don't like Yoshi gameplay. Layton versus Wright.
This is probably the best Professor Layton game to hit 3DS.
Yep.
I'll give it a 7.
Wow, that's so low. Okay. Disney Magical World.
I will give that... Shit. I think it was the second one that I played more of and thought was better. I think the first one was okay. I'll give it a 4.
Kirby Triple Deluxe.
I will give that one an 8.
Mario Golf World Tour.
I've been thinking about this game a lot lately, and remembered how So the story mode thing, like they didn't really do the RPG thing. It's totally fine what they did, but it's just not that long. But like everything else that they did, the challenge mode was super awesome. They actually did like the right thing with async online.
Yep.
This is a very good Mario Golf game. I'll give it an 8.
I have a story about this to tell you off air.
All right.
Tomodachi Life. You could take any angle on this fucker.
It's like I think there's like I think if I focus it personally, um, this was a game that I had a ton of fun with playing almost communally, where I had a couple friends that also played it. My wife also got super into Tomodachi Life. Um, and like it was the kind of thing like where we had like our friends, like we would share me's with each other, and um like actually like have it be like, oh, like did like you got married to this person in my game, and what happened with you in your game. Like that was really fun. I do think that there's kind of a limit to like how much the me aquarium can go.
Yes.
And I think this pushes it to the limit, to the point where yes, I feel like Nintendo probably stopped making Tomodachi Life games because they said that if we make another Tomodachi Life game, we'll put in gay marriage. So the solution was to never make another Tomodachi Life game.
That is exactly what happened.
And I can see why they would make Metopia, but like that game ain't great. But I'll give this a 7.
I have one question.
What?
Do you think Nintendo of America, as a whole, and I don't mean the individuals, I mean as a company, regrets the decision to localize Tomodachi Life? Do you think that the negative press that came out of Tomodachi Life dramatically outweighed sales and player appreciation to the point where it was a fucking mistake to bring over? Because I get that sense.
I 100% would agree with that.
It was
'Cause
it was a big conversation about a game that no one cared about.
yeah, like I have a memory of, I think it was like at like, I think it was Longwood Gardens outside of Philadelphia, explaining this to my wife, like
Yep.
what was happening. And I think actually over the course of that conversation might have been what convinced her to eventually play it. Because I was just like, and the game's like kind of weird. It is funny.
My mother texted me, yeah, because it was on John Oliver.
Yeah, yeah,
Because that game got so much controversy when it was literally just announced with like a 12-minute like, here's Bill Trinen talking about the Virtual Boy or whatever.
yeah.
Like it was like designed to be like this silly thing that like would have gotten localized, but Nintendo did for some reason. And oh yeah, no, Mother 3 is not gonna. If Mother 3 gets localized, it's gonna get censored, and people are gonna get very mad about that.
Yeah.
You're not gonna fucking
Yeah.
have like an entire group of people in that game that is a pun on a slur for the Romani people. You're not gonna fucking get that.
Well, I also do want to see Itoi's anti-capitalist beautiful game come out in English. You have the fan translation. Accept it and enjoy it.
Accept it, enjoy it, and if you can, edit that slur out.
Yeah.
Anyways, Pokemon Art Academy.
Give this one a 5. I remember this being pretty fun.
Okay, Fantasy Life.
Ooh, I'm gonna overrate this game, and I don't give a shit. Give it a 9.
Okay. Pokemon Omega.
I guess my brief thing about Fantasy Life is what I love about that game is that every single boss fight, you like everything in that game is very much like they build it up to be like, you're gonna have to fight this monster, and then it's like, oh, it's all a misunderstanding, everybody's fine now. And I just love how consistent that game is with that.
Yes. I wish that Fantasy Life 2 were any good at all.
Yep.
Pokemon
That first one's real good.
Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire.
I don't really like these games on Game Boy Advance. Sure as shit didn't really like them on 3DS. Give it a 4.
Ultimate NES Remix, which, to be clear, two things. One, you might be wondering why the Wii U 1+2 is not on here, and that's because that's literally just on disc. They released the two games. There's nothing new at all. It's just a re-release. However, this is substantially different in that it is Ultimate by removing bad content and adding very little else.
Yeah. Yeah.
They knew.
Um,
They knew that the way to
I
make the
will
game
say,
better was to
for
rip
playing
pinball
this game
out.
on 3DS, it's really good. Um, but yeah, I'll give it an 8 because I actually I played a lot of this game. I think I might have reviewed it. I probably played more of this than 2 because I don't think they came out around the same time, but I think I didn't play NES Remix 2 immediately when it came out,
Yeah,
and I wound up playing the 3DS version a ton.
Ultimate is so much better way to experience that content.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, Chibi Robo Photo Finder, which is not actually just like a photo app. It's genuinely actually an alright game, which makes it
Yeah.
so heartbreaking.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll give it a 6. Like I don't. And basically, I was thinking 5, and then I wanted to give it one more just because of the tragedy of Chibi Robo after this. Although, no, I
No,
like Ziplash.
that franchise is a tragedy. Like that
Yeah,
franchise is just like they kept trying because Nintendo and Skip believed in it so much, but they could
yep,
never get something that would
yeah,
sell.
yeah. Because I mean, like Photo Finder's really cool. It's just that like how like it doesn't sell.
No, Photo Finder is as good as you're gonna get for a Chibi Robo 2. But guess what? People didn't want it.
Nope.
Steel Diver Sub Wars.
Um, this was a pretty neat game that was limited by the fact that like it's a fucking Steel Diver game.
Sure is.
I'll give it a 4.
Pokemon Battle Troze.
Oh, this is the one that I don't like at all. Give it a 3.
This is the matching game.
Yeah, it's the
Rusty.
one where they ruined the concept of Pokemon Troze with
Yes.
this game.
Rusty's Real Deal Baseball.
Oh, this shit's delightful. Give it a 7.
Photos with Mario.
That is not delightful. Give it a 2.
DDD's Drum Dash Deluxe.
That
Get
is
it?
totally
3D.
fine. Give it a 5.
Except 4D. And then
Yeah, it's actually 40.
yeah, Kirby Fighters Deluxe.
I believe.
This is the first time outside of Triple Deluxe that there's a Kirby Fighters, and in the next 6 years you're gonna see so many Kirby combat games.
Yeah.
So many.
I think you know what, just because of the novel, like I'm gonna just give it a 5. I was gonna think about like, oh, if this came, I think it came out right before Smash Brothers or whatever, but I don't think that matters because I remember the first one of that one like being clever for what it was, and then they just kept on making Kirby Fighters games.
Congratulations, we finally cracked 6.0.
it
Holy cow, we finally did it.
only took like what 25 years, 30, almost 30 years.
Yeah. So it took no ones and a lot of 8s and 9s.
Yeah,
But we still got
there's a
three,
2.
2 4s, 2 3s, excuse me. Yeah. 2015. Don't worry, we're getting fewer and fewer games every year, basically.
Yep, thanks modern Nintendo.
I don't know. This is them doing their absolute damnedest.
Ooh,
2015. Kirby the Rainbow Curse.
give it 6.
Mario vs. Donkey Kong Tipping Stars. Speaking of things that can get turned out in record speed.
Yeah, 4. This was the one that was like made with HTML5 or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit. 2 for Mario Party 10.
Okay. Amiibo tapped Nintendo's greatest bits.
Was this free?
This was free, but you could do literally nothing without an amiibo.
Okay.
And what you would do is you'd scan an amiibo, like a Mario amiibo, and then it would say, okay, we've randomly assigned you to Mock Rider. Now, whenever you tap the Mario amiibo, you may play a 30-second chunk of Mock Rider, and then we will ask you to go buy it on the eShop. And if you tap Mario amiibo, it will always be Mock Rider. Go buy a second amiibo if you want a second game.
2.
Splatoon.
Give that give it a 9.
Art Academy Home Studio.
Okay, yeah, no, like I can't believe I forgot about this, but this is an outstanding version of Art Academy.
Yeah.
Give it a 7.
Super Mario Maker.
Give it an 8.
I'm going to be so fascinated to see how this year shakes out. 2015 is like the most weird year in Nintendo's history, probably.
Yeah, and it's a kind of thing like I think actually Splatoon and Mario Maker I gave those are my actual review scores.
Splatoon and Mario Maker are the two best games that came out this year,
Oh
outside
yeah,
of maybe
definitely.
Xenoblade X.
I think Splatoon is like some of the stage limitations early on. I feel like I can't discount that totally. Although I
Yeah.
think the single player is really fun in Splatoon 1. And Mario Maker, like it's a brilliant game that just like has like the weird rollout of content and just like a lot of awkward things about the initial ramp up of playing that game that
Yeah.
like I agree with my review that I wrote for 6 years ago or whatever, where I think that game is absolutely magical, but it's an 8 out of 10.
I appreciate that this game globally they kept saying the phrase like this game releases on the 11th of September because
Yep.
they refused to say say Super
Yeah.
Mario Maker out on 9/11.
Yep.
Who knows? There might be a story about why Monsters Expedition is the only Apple Arcade game to ever launch on a Thursday, not a Friday, and it launched on 9/10. Who could say? Yoshi's Woolly World.
I'm going to give this a 5.
Oh wow!
I don't think that game is that great. I think it's totally fine.
That is the only Yoshi game that I think is acceptable. I also agree it's a 5. Fatal Frame Maiden of Blackwater.
I'm going to give this one a 5 largely because I never played it. I know people like it, but I don't have anything else to say about it other than that. I thought some people liked it.
This game, okay. Yeah, this game was, by Fatal Frame fans, this game was not received well, and by a lot of Nintendo fans, it was like, the best part of this game was the free demo, and then, because in the West, it was like a free download, and then they upsold you for the rest of the game, and like the rest of the game was just bad. I don't know what the meta score is going to be. Meta score -2.
67.
That's bad by Nintendo game standards.
Okay, it was Andrew Brown. That's who reviewed it. I know he's a big Fatal Frame fan. He wound up giving it an 8.5. I'm gonna stick with my 5 on it.
Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival.
Give that I'll give it a 2 because the island, like the desert island thing or whatever, was fun.
Oh, you mean the thing that they patched into Animal Crossing New Leaf for free?
Yeah.
Along with Puzzle League.
That was so good. It's gonna be great when they never do that on Switch.
They don't need to patch any substantial new features into Animal Crossing New Horizons. They can just sit there and keep cashing those checks endlessly.
Yep.
Mario Tennis. It's the second best-selling game in Japan's history.
Wow.
Was it Pokemon Red and Blue?
Okay. Wow.
With 10 million. New Horizons is already at 6.5 million.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, Also, Pokemon Red and Blue counts Virtual Console.
That's wild.
Yeah. New Horizons has only released once, and it's the second best-selling game in the history of that entire country. Mario Tennis Ultra Smash.
Give that a 2.
Xenoblade Chronicles X.
Give that an 8.
Devil's Third.
Give that a 3.
Oh, a Devil's Third out of 10?
Yes.
You
found my logic.
Yes. Majora's Mask 3D.
Give that a 9.
That is the perfect remake of that game.
Yep.
Mario vs. Donkey Kong Tipping Stars, but this time it's on HTML5 on the 3DS for some reason.
Give it a 3.
Codename Steam.
I wish Codename Steam was better than it was.
Same. I wish it was less politically gross than it is also.
Yeah. I'll give it a 3.
Fossil Fighters Frontier.
I'll give that one a 5.
Xenoblade Chronicles 3D. Those fucking faces are so funny.
So one, I played this entire fucking game on the 3DS.
I'm so
I
sorry.
look back on it and I'm like, why did I still had it on Wii. I could have just replayed it there.
Why did you?
I mean, part of it was that I did review it, so that's part of the reason for it. But like, I could have just given that review to someone else and not had to deal with that shit.
That's such a long game.
I think the fact that it runs on 3DS is a miracle.
Oh,
Um,
it's magical that it runs, but if you look at the graphics, you sort of understand how.
yes,
Also, when you understand that it doesn't run on 3DS, it's new 3DS only.
yeah, yeah. I will give that version a 7.
Okay. Puzzle and Dragons Z plus Super Mario Brothers Edition.
It's got so much damn content.
That is too much content. That
It
is
is too
exactly
much.
50% too much content.
I will say with that, like I put a lot of I played so much of the Super Mario Brothers edition
Yeah, that's the good
to
one.
the point to the point that like I was like maybe I should try Puzzle and Dragon Z, and I was like no, I'm good.
You've
Um,
had enough.
yeah, I'll
Yeah,
give it I'll give it a 5 though, because I did have a lot of fun with that, even if like there's some bullshit about Puzzle and Dragons that I remember being frustrated by.
the thing is, in Japan, those were both like full price retail games. So there's enough content in both. Like both of those is like
Yeah,
50 to 60 hours long
yeah,
of Puzzle and Dragons.
I put a lot of time into that game.
And then you finish one and you're like, are you ready to do it all over again? It's like, no,
And I
there's
was
exactly
not.
50. The reason is because they knew that they couldn't
Yeah.
sell Z in the West on
Yep.
its own. They just couldn't. LBX Little Battlers experience.
This is the downfall of level 5 happening before our eyes. Give it a 3.
Animal Crossing Happy House Arrest.
Give it a 3. I will say, like the controls for moving around furniture and that fantastic. Everything else about that game, don't give a shit.
Isn't it great that they immediately went and patched it into New Leaf?
Yep.
Weird how everything from a festival and Happy Home Designer that people can point to and be like, that's okay. I can immediately retort, yeah, it's in New Leaf because they patched all the good stuff back into the good game and left the bad games out to dry. Chibi Robo Ziplash.
If I could just do an image of the Chibi Robo like with
On
the
fire?
fire behind him or whatever, I'm giving this game a 7. I really like it.
Okay. The Legend of Zelda Triforce Heroes. Yay!
Playing single player, it would be a 2. Playing multiplayer, online with randoms, I would give it a 4. Playing multiplayer with people in the same room, that game's like a 7. So I guess I'll give it a 4.
Yeah, those scores about check out.
Yeah,
Uh,
like the single player, holy shit! Like I understand why they did the single player, but holy shit.
because you can't sell that. Yeah. Yep.
Yep.
Okay, now imagine that, but you also need to pay an online subscription. Now, how do you feel?
Shit.
Yokai Watch.
4.
Pokemon Super Mystery Dungeon.
So I've heard this, and I think it came up when I think someone in the chat, I don't know if they're here now, was talking about how Pokemon Super Mystery Dungeon is like the only good Pokemon Mystery Dungeon game.
Uh,
And I don't know if I totally believe that,
I don't.
but like I've heard like I think like Kalafi thought that this was a totally fine game.
Here's
Um,
here's my genuine understanding of this. Is that it is way more content than a usual Mystery Dungeon game, which is to me one of the worst things you can say about a Mystery Dungeon game.
yeah.
Is that they added way more.
God, this year is going to be brutal. I'm going to give it a 3.
I'm telling you, this year sucks.
I didn't like it makes sense because this is like when the 3DS is starting to slow down and the Wii U is just existing.
I mean, this is the worst. This is their worst holiday lineup. This is Ultra Smash, Amiibo
Yeah.
Festival, Happy Home
Fucking
Designer,
Xenoblade.
LBX, and Devil's Third, and like Triforce Heroes is like their marquee game on 3DS, and their marquee game on Wii U is Xenoblade or Mario Maker, but Mario Maker came out in September,
Yeah.
and like for the holiday,
It was supposed to be Star Fox Zero.
Yeah, it's December's Xenoblade Chronicles X.
Yeah. Yeah, because it
which-
was so this is when I was I was a freelance copywriter at Toys R Us.
Yes.
Was that? Yeah, that was this year. But there was the whole thing where like I was working on the big toy book at Toys R Us, which that's cool. Yeah. Everybody loves the big toy book, and we had a thing where it's Star Fox Zero with like a release date and that's when I learned. Oh, that's why they put the release dates are subject to change.
Yes. Flipnote Studio 3D.
Give that a 5.
Pokemon Shuffle, which is Pokemon Paltrose, but a lot of
Free to play.
microtransactions.
But it's I mean it's no, like, wasn't the gameplay of that better than it was the original Troze, not Battle Troze.
Oh yeah, it was original Troze. You're right.
Yeah. I actually I enjoyed Pokemon Shuffle. Give it a 5.
Box Boy.
Give that one a 7.
Pokemon Rumble World, which is free unless you spend $30 to just get your way out of all the microtransactions, at which point you're left with just another fucking Pokemon Rumble.
I will say I played more of this game than I probably should have.
Pokemon Rumble is bad.
But it's not good. I'll give it a 3.
Stretchmo, which is the free-to-play, or free-to-start, it's not free-to-play.
Yeah.
It's basically just a free client, and then you just buy the modes that you want. And I think that all of them are really good.
Yeah, I'll give that one a 7.
That's my favorite of the Mo games. Dr. Mario Miracle Cure for the 3DS. Did you remember this existed?
I did remember. I didn't remember the name, but I remembered that there was because I was kind of excited for it, and then I remember
playing it.
Yeah, I remember playing it and realizing that they didn't really do that. What was the whole hook for this? Oh, the Miracle Cure power-ups or whatever. That's dumb.
The hook was it's 3 Goombas in a trench coat. Oh no, wait, that's later.
Yeah. Give it a 4.
Oh
shit, are we gonna do mobile games too?
Yes, we are.
Yes.
Nintendo Badge Arcade.
Yo, Badge Arcade is the shit, but also it's like the worst gotcha bullshit that Nintendo had done to this date. I'm gonna give it a 5. I spent way too much money on that dumb fucking thing, which is like I spent like $10, which is just still too much money.
Yes. If you want to know, by the way, if you want to know where their head's at, 2014 they experiment with free to start with Steel Diver Sub Wars and Rusty's Real Deal Baseball.
2015, it's like every eShop game.
Pokemon Shuffle, Pokemon Rumble World, Stretchmo, Nintendo Badge Arcade, and here we are with our last release of the year, Pokemon Picross.
Which I have to give like higher than usual because I forget what the monetization with this, but whatever it was, I paid it because
it was like $15 to just get the entire game outright.
Yeah, and I did that because
and it was a lot of game. A lot of game.
I love Picross, and this was a
really
good
like
Picross game.
Picross.
I'm gonna give this one an 8.
4.94.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So if you want to look at this graph,
it's gonna be. Whoa. Will we continue the free fall?
No.
Maybe.
2016. That's why
2016 isn't gonna have that many games, but it's probably strong. Yeah. This is a stronger year.
Twilight Princess HD.
I will give that one a 7.
Pokken Tournament.
A 5.
Star Fox Zero. John is not listening. You can say whatever you want.
I'll give it a 7. I'll give it a 7. I still really enjoy that game. Once again, controls clicked for me.
Star Fox Guard.
I will give that one a 6. It's a fun little tower defense game with some like clever Wii U bullshit.
Mini Mario and Friends Amiibo Challenge.
Give that a 3.
The Wii U version. Don't worry, there's a 3DS version later. Tokyo Mirage Sessions Sharp FE. Keep in mind that the digital and retail versions on Wii U were significantly different.
Oh my god, I forgot about that.
Because the digital version, every battle had a 7-second load, and if you bought it off a disc like a sucker, you had a 15-second load every battle.
I was gonna go higher with that, but I forgot about that hot horse shit. Because this is a really good RPG.
It is a really good RPG, you're right.
I'll give it an 8.
You can save that for Encore, which shortens it even further from the digital Wii U.
Yeah.
Mario and Sonic at the Rio 2016 Olympic Games.
Alright, I will do what I've done. Although I think this one isn't bad.
People don't like this one at all.
Or is this the...
This is one of the.
I'm getting my Mario at the Olympics games confused. I'll give this one a 3.
Okay. Color Splash.
Well, I'm gonna cheat a little bit. If I were to do what Neal would give this in 2016, it would be way too low. But you know what? Now we're getting close to modern days. I don't give a shit. Give this one a 9.
Hell yeah. And that's it for Wii U. Like the whole
Holy shit.
console. That's the entire Wii U. We just did it.
I feel like the entirety of the Wii U is like less than DSiWare.
It is. It genuinely is. They put up more games on DSiWare than Wii U.
Oof.
Paper Mario.
Mario.
Yeah, Mario and Luigi Paper Jam. Yes.
I will give that one a 6.
Okay. Fire Emblem Fates, the good and the bad, all 3 versions.
Yeah, I think if you were to break this out, it might be a little different, but I think Birthright stinks on ice. I think Conquest is a little bit better, and I got burnt out, and I didn't play the third one.
Conquest is the best. Revelations is not good.
Okay, all right. So I'm gonna give this a 4. I don't like Fates. This was to the point where I almost didn't play Echoes because I was so fucking mad at Fates.
Okay. Mario and Sonic at the Rio 2016 Olympic Games, this time for 3DS.
Give it a 2.
Hyrule Warriors Legends.
I played way too much of the shitty version of this game on 3DS because there was Wind Waker crap in it.
Which 3DS?
New 3DS.
That will dramatically change your score.
Yeah.
This thing should not have released on old 3DS.
Yeah, I think the fact that it released on old 3DS,
that's shitty.
I'll give it a 4 just for that. I was thinking 5 or 6, but I'll go 4 because it's bullshit that it came out on old 3DS.
Bravely Second.
I'll give that one a 6.
Disney Art Academy.
I will give that one a 5.
Kirby Planet Robobot.
That's like maybe the best Kirby game ever made. Give it a 9.
Rhythm Heaven Megamix.
A fucking great Rhythm Heaven game. Give it a 9.
Alright, these 2 games released on the same day.
I forgot that they did.
Both controversial. Well, that's because Style Savvy came out like a year after Europe and Japan.
Yeah.
Style Savvy Fashion Forward, which is so different than any of the other Style Savvy games.
This is the one that I've put the most time into, and it's very good. I'll give it an 8.
All of them are very good. I think that the most recent one is the best yet. But we'll get there.
Oh, wait, when the fuck did the most recent, or is that...
The most recent one was like the Christmas 2017, or whatever.
Oh, shit.
This is not that.
Okay.
One...
Give Fashion Forward a 7, then. I got my Style Savvies confused.
Yes, where you have to, you're decorating a home with miniatures, and you're going out and, building out your color palette.
I forgot that there were fucking...
3 Style Savvies on 3DS, yes. And they're all good, but this one is the one that wildly deviates from this standard. Metroid Prime Federation Force.
I really like this game. I'll give it an 8.
Very good.
It is optimally best played with multiplayer. However, I think the single player is totally functional. It's basically, it has a similar problem as Triforce Heroes, but it's just that the single player is like a thing you can actually play.
Yes. Picross 3D Round 2.
I 25 out of 10. Give it a 10.
Dragon Quest 7 on 3DS with the bad soundtrack.
Oh, I forgot that it had the bad soundtrack.
The Western versions do, but the Japanese 3DS versions have the good soundtrack, because fuck you.
I feel the same way about Dragon Quest 7 as I feel about something like Zelda 2, and that I like the idea of the game, but I hate the execution. I will give it a 4.
Yokai Watch 2, Bony Spirits and Fleshy Souls.
I'm going to give that a 3, largely because the first half of the game is just basically hey, remember the first game? You're just fucking doing it again.
Yes.
But then the second half is this bonkers-ass time-traveling thing that's actually pretty good, but by the time I got there, I never wanted to play another Yokai Watch game again.
Disney Magical World 2.
Give this one a 6. I remember having way more fun with this than I expected.
Mario Party Star Rush, which is not Island Tour, nor is it Top 100.
I will give this one a... I'll give it a 3.
Pokemon Sun and Moon.
I think Star Rush is the best Mario Party on 3DS. That's all I got.
What did you give the other Mario Party? You gave it... That was 2013, excuse me. Yeah, you give it a 4.
Oh Jesus! What the fuck was it? Can you bring the other one down to 3? Bump Star Rush up to 4.
Yes, I can. Uh,
Why the fuck did I do that?
oh, that changes it to 5.5 for the year. Sorry, 2013, you had it too good for too long. And then we'll bump that up to a 4. Pokemon Sun and Moon.
I'll give. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go 9 with that because I really
Fuck yeah.
it is very linear, but I'm like totally fine with that because it was just a really good romp with a lot of fun new Pokemon, a really cool area. The trial stuff is just really great.
Yeah. Super Mario Maker for Nintendo 3DS.
The levels that they put in there were actually pretty good. That's the only nice thing I have to say about Super Mario Maker for 3DS because it just doesn't it's just why the fuck does that game exist? Give it a 4.
It exists because it sold enough money that they put it out as a Nintendo Selects like 6 months later. Because the 3DS version sold a bonkers amount of money because a lot of people wanted Mario Maker, but did not fucking want to have a Wii U.
I will say it's cool that like NST or whoever figured out how to put that on 3DS. It does run well, but it's like it's the fact that you can't share levels, which is like 90% of what makes Mario Maker cool.
They didn't. My understanding is that was not a technical limitation. That was we don't want the Wii U version that's going to be $20 more to seem as good or worse by comparison.
That makes it worse.
Mini Mario and Friends Amiibo Challenge for the 3DS. You gave the Wii U one 3.
Give that one a 2.
Pocket Card Jockey.
Oh shit! Give that a 10. That game's incredible.
Box Boy.
Give that one an 8.
Metroid Prime Blast Ball.
That fucking came out separately?
That came out separately as well as in Federation Force, yes.
It cost money though, right?
I think it was free.
If it was a free, if it's free, give it a 4.
Okay, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's free. Swap Doodle, which is Swap No, but this time the pedophiles have forgotten about us.
Yes. Give that a 5.
Miitomo.
I will say, like that first month of Miitomo was super fun. However, that's not really a video game. Give it a 4.
It has gameplay. Super Mario Run.
I'll give that a 6. I think it's a really cool idea. That they didn't actually make really great until they added that what the hell was it called? The rush mode or whatever.
Yes.
Yep. Which I go back to every now and then because that mode is awesome. Every
time I re-download the app to take a look at it, you're the only person that shows up.
Yeah, I always see you're me whenever I go back into it.
Excellent, because we're the only 2 people that have downloaded that app in the last 5 years.
And it's nice because I think Super Mario Run is a legitimately cool idea that they just fucked up the monetization and it ruined what was probably their coolest mobile game.
Oh, I don't know about that. No, hard disagree on the ranking of mobile games there. We'll get there.
All right.
I think it is their 3rd best mobile game.
I'm trying to think of what you'd have. Like, I mean, Fire Emblem Heroes definitely would be above that.
And Dragalia.
Oh, shit. Yeah, I forgot about Dragalia. Okay.
Everyone forgets about Dragalia. How does everyone forget about Dragalia? It's so good.
Super Mario Run, not their coolest mobile game, but a very good mobile game.
A very good mobile game. It is middle of the pack for me. It is above. It is 3rd for me.
I mean, I guess if we're breaking up the rankings, it's probably that and Fire Emblem Heroes occupy a similar space for me. Dragalia. When was the last time
you checked in on Fire Emblem?
I tried to make sense of it earlier in 2020 and was like, holy fuck, they added so much to this game, and then just got very overwhelmed and did not play.
I will give you 30 minutes of my time on a call and just walk you through it because it is probably just a lot up front. But if you know what you should and should not focus on, then it is fine.
Okay, then yeah, maybe I'll get back into that at some point. And Dragalia, after we talked about it sometime last year, I
Yeah,
actually spent 2 weeks playing a lot of it, and then my child likes to occupy playing Mario Kart on my phone, so that's what
fair.
gets played more.
Breath of the
But
Wild.
Dragalia is one of those things that I'm like, I need to get back to that game because yeah, they fixed so much about it.
And
Not
the
that it was bad.
story's so good.
Yeah. Not that it was ever I don't think it was ever bad at launch, but they just made it better.
Yes, no, that game is. If you haven't played Dragalia Lost since like the first month it came out, you really should be checking that thing out. Especially since
Yeah.
they did um the thing that
The
happens with long running games where they just let you skip the first 10 chapters now
Yeah,
of the
yeah.
story, and just like they just made a manga of like here is like you can read this in 20 minutes. Here is what happens in the first 10 chapters. Here's who the characters are. Here's what their interactions go.
When did they add that? Was that like
That was
recently?
about 5 months ago.
That might have been right after I played it. Maybe I will go back into it and read that so that way I can kind of catch up.
Yes,
Because
no,
I wound up just hard rebooting because
yeah,
I played it for like a month initially and was like I remember nothing.
yeah. The story for the first 9 or so chapters is fine to good, and then after that it becomes great. It's like the Final Fantasy 14 problem,
Yeah,
which is why like the first few chapters are literally just set up. It's like here's this world. These characters are going off and building up their party, and
yeah.
then afterwards it's like, all right, we got into some more interesting shit, so you can just jump there if you want. Yeah. Anyways, Breath of the Wild,
Give that a 9.
Dragon Quest 8 with the
Give
bad
that
music,
an 8. Oh yeah, it does have it. Give it a 7.
Poochie and Yoshi's Woolly World,
Give that a 5.
Mario Sports Superstars,
Give that a 3.
Fire Emblem Echoes: Shadows of Valentia,
Give that one a. I really don't like the handful of maps near the end that like lean hard into poison and bullshit. But everything else about that game I really enjoy. I'll give it an 8.
okay, Ever Oasis,
I will give that game a 9. I adore that game.
Miitopia.
I will give that game a 4. I think it's a good joke, but that's it.
That's a really long joke.
Yeah.
Hey Pikmin,
I'll give it a 5. I think that's a totally adequate game.
Monster Hunter Stories,
This is a game that I actually haven't played, but is currently in my 3DS. And I have intentions of playing it sometime this year. Um,
why not just jump to the second one then?
I mean, I heard the first one was good.
Yeah, the second one probably will be too.
All right. Well, I will, for the fact that I haven't played this one at all, outside of the demo, a very long time ago, I will give this a 5 because I don't have
Okay.
any great opinion on it.
Metroid Samus Returns.
I'll give that one an 8. I really enjoyed that game, and I think that I know I think it's overused a little bit, but oh god, I forget the term for it. The counter, the up close, the melee counter.
Yes. The
I think
riposte.
it's yeah. Like I think that's legitimately a really smart addition to 2D Metroid because that's one thing is that like it's always an at a distance game, and it adds just this little bit of like more complexity to Samus's combat that I really enjoyed. And yes, like it's the new hat, so they do it on like every fucking boss battle.
Yep.
But overall, like it's just a really fun game. Maybe a little too long, but it's good. I would like to see Mercury Steam make a new fucking 2D Metroid, but like I guess it just takes them 15 years or something.
Or I don't know. Let's see here. Ships in August 2017. HD games tend to take a 3 to 5 year development cycle, especially when you're moving from 3DS to HD. Who knows? All I know is the fact that we haven't seen it yet does not mean it's not being worked on.
I would love I think if it's out this year that would be awesome. Who knows if that's true or not.
Yokai Watch 2 Psychic Specters. Third
Oh
version.
god, I forgot about that. I'll give it a 3.
Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga plus Bowser's Minions.
It's like a totally fine bloated version of a great game.
They changed the art style to make it less expressive, and they added like 30-hour bullshit mode that no one likes.
Yeah. I'll give it a 5.
Fire Emblem Warriors on the 3DS, new 3DS.
Shit.
Hey, this one runs. First of all, it's new 3DS only, but second of all, it like
Yeah.
runs better than Hyrule
I'll
Warriors.
I'll give it a 6.
My understanding is like I played a little bit of that, and my understanding from talking to people who like only played it on 3DS, it's like it is a shockingly serviceable version of that game.
Yeah, I never wound up playing it on 3DS.
Mario Party, the top 100.
Give that a 2.
Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon.
I'll give that a 7. I don't like third versions of Pokemon games as much. That's all.
Coming out on Christmas Day in the United States because they have
They
no
didn't
confidence in
care.
this fucking franchise, you assholes. Style Savvy Styling Star, the best one.
Give it an 8.
Okay. Tank Troopers.
I wish this was better than it was. Give it a 4.
Bye bye, Box Boy.
Give that one an 8.
Team Kirby Clash Deluxe.
This was the Monster Hunter one?
Sure.
Sort of. It's the one where it's like everybody's teaming up to face a boss.
Yes.
Give it a 4.
Kirby's Blowout Blast.
I feel like this was a cooler bonus mode in Robobo than it was an actual game. Give it a 3.
1-2 Switch.
It's a good joke. Give it a 3.
I don't know. Don't you love hearing babies cry on command? As a young father, don't you love?
Yeah, but I like doing quick draw. That's fun. Like
Yeah.
I mean I do like the way it shows off some of the cool things of the Switch. It's just not. It's a funny game that I didn't have any kind of lastability in me playing it.
$50. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
Give that one. I think they actually kind of made a better version of Mario Kart 8 with this. The battle mode is way better. That cops and robbers mode is awesome. Give it a 7.
ARMS.
Give that one a 6.
Is that
think
because
it's
it didn't have likes?
I mean, it's true. If that had a stronger single player mode, I would be way more into it.
I mean, it had Inflation Clown. What else do you want? Like,
and I mean, it did have our boy Helix.
it did have our boy Helix, exactly. I could do a
I
Helix
really-
impression, but I would annoy the chat. So
I really would like to see an ARMS 2 someday, or some kind of follow up in that universe, because I like the it's just a fun game to play.
it
was
I
actually a
really
game.
hope it doesn't die with just ARMS.
Yeah. And because it's the kind of thing that like really if you can just like kind of like run it back as far as the multiplayer goes, and then just add in like make it like Splatoon with how there's all that lore, because that lore seems to be there. They just never really
Surface it in the
developed
game
it.
itself.
Yeah.
Splatoon 2.
Give that one a 9.
Pokken Tournament DX.
Give it a 5.
Fire Emblem Warriors on Switch.
Give it an 8. That's a pretty good Warriors game. I like it a good deal.
Super Mario Odyssey.
I'll give that an 8. I think it is almost by default maybe the best 3D Mario, because I think that the movement of Mario is really good, but I think what I've come to learn is that every 3D Mario has flaws.
Snipper Clips.
Give that a 9. That game is absolutely magical and delightful. It's super fun to play in co-op.
Get ready for the wildest fucking end of this year. Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
2.
Okay.
Fuck that game.
Fuck that game. I'm not far off. Flip Wars.
This would be the kind of thing that like
Please give it higher
I've
than
forgotten.
Xenoblade.
You know what? Just for that, I'll give it a 3.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, like I don't think Flip Wars. I think Flip Wars is like dumb, but not terrible. But it's
Alright.
definitely like it's not great.
So, we gotta decide here and now how we're gonna handle these live mobile games, these live ops games.
Yeah.
Do you want... So, for reference, what James did is he rated them by how were they on December 31st on the year they launched, because they're ranking by
Okay.
year. So like, do you want to rate them by how they were at launch, how they were at the end of their year, how they are now, how they were when the last time you checked up on them was?
I think I'm gonna go by the last time I checked up on them.
Okay, because Fire Emblem Heroes got way better, and Animal Crossing Pocket Camp has 5 competing subscription services.
Um, I will say that, and I think I say that, and that what also does help with this is that I checked it in basically every Nintendo mobile game last year. Some of them I spent less time with others. Like for example, Animal Crossing Pocket Camp, I basically opened up. It was like fucking no,
it's
deleted it.
it's real bad. My mom
So
plays it so much every day, and to the point where literally, I'm giving this to her on Monday. I just bought her a fucking Switch Lite and a copy of Animal Crossing New Horizons because I'm like, Mom, I don't have a way to say like, stop buying these fortune cookie microtransactions for this shit game, but you can do better. I
God,
promise.
Pocket Camp is real bad. I'm gonna give Pocket Camp a 3.
Okay.
I
Uh,
will say, for as overwhelming as Fire Emblem Heroes is to go into as a person who played it a good deal, like in 2017 and a little bit in 2018, um, like it's a really fucking good game.
yeah.
Like it's astoundingly good, and the amount that like you get to do, it's like I played it basically every day for like 3 months when it came out,
Yeah.
and I never spent a dime and never really wanted for anything. And granted, I don't have I like I noticed this with some people, and I think it might just be how I am. Like I think a Zelda mobile game might break me because I have a lot more affinity to specific
Mm-hmm.
characters there. But like even with Mario Kart Tour, like I've talked to people who have gotten really mad about like all I wanted was this specific character and I just threw money at it. And for me, with like, okay, I wound up getting Hiker Wario, which I really wanted to get,
Yes.
because that's funny. But like I just had my rubies and like I used it. I'm like, ah, shit, I didn't get them. Like I'll try next time he shows up in a pipe.
Yeah.
And I don't
No.
I don't have that issue. So with Fire Emblem Heroes, like I'll do the gotcha, but I'm not like I
Yep.
totally need to get Lucina. I'm just like, oh cool, like I got like an S rank character or whatever. Um,
Have you checked in? Did you drop off before they started going wild and like they added a rhythm game? Like,
I okay, yeah, I checked in on the rhythm game, and that's about when I was like, this is too overwhelming for me.
okay,
The
because
fact that they added that much shit to it.
now there's just like a fucking chess game. Now there's like 6 different ways that you can optionally play competitive multiplayer that all have their different ways that different units are better than others. Like not
I
just
gotta get
stats,
back
but
into
like
this. I gotta get back into this damn game.
different focuses of like, hey, if you don't have these units, that's fine. There's other competitive multiplayer where the units you do have will shine. Like
That's wow.
there's like 4 or 5 different like full stories. So the first, like chapter 1, which is just the like you're chasing after um every single chapter is just Veronica has summoned characters from a different Fire Emblem game and it's
Yeah,
boring. Chapter
yeah.
2 starts with like, okay, we're going to introduce our own original story now, and then that is all of chapter 2, and then it ends, and then and that's like going through like from the Ice Kingdom to the Fire Kingdom. Chapter 3 is you're in the realm of the dead and you're investigating hell, and chapter 4 is all about fairies and dreams, and now chapter 5 is steampunk,
Jesus
and
Christ.
they're all full stories. Yeah, Fire Emblem Heroes has so much fucking shit to do that like you can probably like if you haven't played and you want to get in there, there's probably 80 hours of single player stuff for you to do for there for free.
Yeah, I believe
Like
I
right
believe
now.
I think I played a little bit of chapter 2, and that's where I
Yeah, no,
stayed it
there's
off.
so much. Also, of course, there's 3
Um,
difficulties on every mission.
yep. I'm gonna give this game a 9,
Okay.
and the more that I hear about this, the more like I should get back into this because I'd probably have. I had a lot of fun with it. It was really the only reason I stopped playing it was just because I'm like, well, I'm playing other games. Like I can put
Yeah.
this one aside.
Fire Emblem Heroes is a daily check-in for me, just like Dragalia and just like Pokemon Go. Those are like my 3 apps that I check in on every day right now. I've started ramping up on the currently unlocalized Nier mobile game that came out like 3 days ago.
Oh.
That is also very interesting. I am still in early days on it though.
How's the Octopath Gotcha game?
I don't know because it's IP locked.
Oh,
So
that sucks.
I downloaded it. I downloaded the Octopath game because I'm like, well, maybe if it's just the combat system and none of the rest of the bullshit, maybe I'll like this more. And then I just downloaded it and it's like, you can't play it in the United States, fucker.
Oh, that sucks.
And I'm like, I've never seen a Japanese mobile game do that before. That's rude.
Yeah.
All right, 2018. Kirby Battle Royale for the 3DS was a $40 game.
Give that a 3.
That is generous. Detective Pikachu for the 3DS.
Give it a 6. I think it's a clever game. Like, I think the concept of it is cooler than the execution.
I think the movie's better than the game, yeah.
Yeah, I also agree with that.
Dylan's Dead Heat Breakers.
Give that an 8. That game has no reason to be as good as it is.
The 3DS version of Sushi Striker.
Oh. So I'm probably the weird person that I think I actually like the Switch version better than the 3DS version.
Ooh.
But they're both pretty good. I will give the 3DS version a 7.
Okay. Captain Toad Treasure Tracker.
The 3DS version.
The 3DS version with the Super Mario Odyssey levels.
Oh yeah. Did this run well?
Yes. And it ran well in 3D.
Okay, then I'll give it an 8.
WarioWare Gold.
I will give that an 8.
Yokai Watch Blasters, Red Cat Corps, and White Dog Squad.
I'll give that a 4.
Luigi's Mansion on 3DS. With the introduction of Gooigi.
I'll give
My
that...
My fiancé is silently shaking their head.
I will give that a 6.
And now they are flipping me off for calling them out on it. They're playing The Sims next to me. Dragon Quest Builders on Switch.
I'll give that a 5. That is a game that I was so excited for, and then they do that shit where at the end of every chapter they're just like, nope, you gotta restart. And I'm like, what? It was
so weird that they decided to bring out 1 on Switch when they were already localizing 2, and 2 solves that.
Yeah.
That always felt weird to me. Bayonetta 1 on Switch.
6.
Bayonetta 2 on Switch.
8.
Kirby Star Allies.
I'll give that a 7.
Nintendo Labo Toy-Con 01 Variety Kit.
I will give Variety Kit a 7.
Robot Kit.
4.
Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze with Funky Mode.
9. I think Funky Mode makes that game better.
Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition.
I mean, it's the definitive version of a pretty good Muso game. I will give it an 8.
Mario Tennis Aces.
I'll give that a 7.
You weren't at E3 2018, were you?
No, I was not.
They were absolute assholes. So what they had... So this was,
This would have been Smash Brothers year.
This is Smash and Pokemon Let's Go. And if you wanted to go to one of those 2 games, that was like you had to register for a time slot through the app at the beginning of the day.
Yeah.
But if you wanted to just go onto their floor on their booth, where they had things like, oh, I don't know, Killer Queen Black.
Yeah, the indie stuff there.
Yeah, the indie stuff. The only way that you were allowed to play it was by first getting a ticket punch of playing Mario Tennis Aces on the floor.
And that game was like out.
That game was out in like a week, and I had already had a copy of it.
Yeah,
and so what I did was
I was playing that when because that's why I was at an E3 2018. I had a child.
Yes, I was playing. I like literally took out my Switch and showed it to the fucking booth attendant, and was like, "I have this game. Do not make me play it." And they said, "That's cool. I also have it at home. You still need to play it." I'm like, God fucking damn it. So I whooped someone's ass because I had played the game and they hadn't. And then I'm like, can I please play indie games now? And they said yes. And I'm like, God damn it. Sushi Striker: The Way of Sushido on Switch.
8.
Octopath Traveler.
It's known to the world that I like this game way more than you. But as I think I reflected on this on a recent episode of Connectivity, in which I said that I definitely overrated this game because I was in the afterglow of having a child who was born early and then after 3 weeks came out of the neonatal ICU.
Yep.
So I totally overrated this game at the time. I'll take the L on that. I still enjoy this game. I think the battle system is tremendous. I really like the graphics, and I think the soundtrack is an all-timer. The story is absolute bullshit and bad.
What if you threw this whole combat system out for the sequel? What if you just threw it away?
I'm gonna give this a 7.
What if you made it a very average tactical game instead?
It sucks because I think it's a totally fine tactics. I have not finished the demo. But I enjoyed the tactics battle in the demo. Like it wasn't it's not an amazing tactics game. It's not a bad one.
Yeah, no, it's average. It's fine.
Yeah. And then the story just keeps on going on, and it's the kind of thing where I'm like, okay, they could do something good with this. But also these motherfuckers put out the first Octopath. That the initial demo for that, you were like, oh, maybe the story is going to be kind of cool, and then it wasn't.
And then it was fucking trash.
Yeah,
yes,
it sucks because I think there's potential with both the story and Octopath, and even how they do have in the fucking hard ass post game dungeon, they actually tie things together a little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah, but all you had to do was have things tie together in the end. Have a finale where things tie together. And okay, the story is still very meandering and everything, but you could have salvaged it and you didn't. I see people being so happy for Project Triangle fucking Strategy. And
tentative title.
Yeah, working title.
I really hope that the name
I just hope it's Triangle Strategy.
It's going to be something like Project Triangle Strategy, named not Final, and that's just going to be the final logo.
It's like Untitled Goose Game,
which I still say to this day should have just been called Titled Goose Game.
Yeah.
Anyways, Captain Toad Treasure Tracker on Switch.
What was it? Yeah, Project Triangle Strategy. I don't know why people are so optimistic about it. I just need to get that off my. I don't.
Yes.
What? Where were you people? I was the only person that liked the fucking game when it came out. Y'all, where were you to back me up in 2018? Treasure Tracker is a great game. 8.
Go Vacation.
Go Vacation isn't a bad game, but I think it's a bad game on Switch.
It's baffling that they published this.
I don't know why they did it. Give it a 3. I did at the E3 where Go Vacation was announced on Wii. They gave me, I dug these up. I was in last summer because I couldn't do anything else because of fucking COVID. I wound up doing a golf, like a very casual golf league with my dad and my brother. And I used the Go Vacation golf balls I got at E3 2009.
Amazing.
And it's funny because the logo that says Go Vacation on it, almost immediately just wiped off.
Yes. All right, we do got to speed up a little bit. Sorry, I just looked. We've been streaming for almost 3 hours.
Oh my god. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, Go Vacation.
3.
Labo Vehicle Kit.
7.
Torna the Golden Country.
I'm going to give this a 5, but I legitimately will probably play this sometime this year because I think I would actually like it.
It is better than the original, which is not hard. Super Mario Party.
4.
The World Ends With You Final Remix.
3. You fucked up a decent game.
Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Pokemon Let's Go Eevee.
6.
Has your kid played it?
Not since it became the age where he might actually understand it. I've been thinking we might actually start playing Pokemon Go with him. Because I think he'd get a kick out of it now.
Strong recommendation, especially for Eevee, because there's just so much petting and being affectionate towards the.
Yeah, I thought there's a very adorable picture that is me and my kid holding hands while holding the Pokeball controller.
Oh, that's good.
But but this game came out like the year he was born.
Oh
So
yeah,
like,
no,
he was a toddler. But I think I thought about it a lot, where he hasn't really shown an interest whenever I've played Sword and Shield. But I think he'd have a lot of fun with this.
yes. Smash Ultimate.
Give that one a 9.
Pokemon Quest.
Oh my god, I
On
forgot
Switch.
about that. 2.
Dragalia Lost.
This is a little bit because I have not seen the full breadth of Dragalia Lost, but I think if I played more of it, it would probably go higher. I'm going to go 8.
Okay. We've cracked 6 again. 6.24.
I feel like this is saying, I've long said that like I miss when Nintendo put out more games because there was more variety, but you know what? Maybe the successful company knows what they're doing.
Yes. All right, 2019. Mario and Luigi Bowser's Inside Story plus Bowser Jr.'s Journey.
I actually think the remake for this one is better than the remake of Superstar Saga.
It is.
Give it a 6.
Yokai Watch 3.
Didn't play it, but I got bored of the Yokai Watch game, so I can't imagine I would ever enjoy this one. I'll give it a 3.
Kirby's Extra Epic Yarn.
I think they completely ruined a great game. 4.
Fitness Boxing.
I'll give it a 3.
New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe.
I'll give it a... Oh, no, fuck. They put in Peach at 5. I will be that petty. Like, I went to 2 conventions after that fucking shit was announced. You have no idea how many Yoshettes and Bowsettes I saw.
No, I do. James did this. James docked it for the same reason, for inviting the horny fans.
Yeah.
Yoshi's
I will
Crafted
say,
World.
honestly, New Super Mario Brothers U Deluxe. If you have a Switch and you've never played U, get that game. It's great. But fuck Peachette.
Yoshi's Crafted World.
I'll give that one a 7. I think that game is delightful.
Labo VR Kit.
Give that an 8. That's incredibly impressive and really fun.
Super Mario Maker 2.
Give that a 6. That game was incredibly disappointing.
Dragon Quest Builders 2.
It's still good, but still like Mario Maker is disappointing, or Mario Maker 2 is disappointing, but like the base framework's still fun, and the single player stuff that they put in totally fine. It's just that could have been so much more, and they made it so safe after making a first game that was really cool because of how weird it was.
Yep. Dragon Quest Builders 2.
A game that I put about 10 hours into and wish I played more. Give it an 8.
Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3.
A game that I played the initial game all the completion. I played some of the DLC and have intentions that will never be realized of actually playing more of the DLC.
How was the DLC?
I
didn't get
it. The first one is basically like a bunch of like horde mode kind of things where then you unlock the characters. The second one adds like a danger room training thing with the X-Men. The third one adds new story content, which is what I want to go back and play.
Okay.
With the Fantastic Four and Doctor Doom.
Yeah.
I think it might end on a tease for more stuff, but who knows if that'll happen. But I think that Ultimate Alliance 3 is a janky ass game that I really enjoyed.
Yep.
Which seems like the definition of a 6 out of 10.
3 Houses.
This would be a lot higher if it wasn't for the fact that in order to see all of the game, you basically need to replay the same fucking part of the game 4 times.
Well, 3
that being
times
said,
if you make a save point at a good
yeah,
time.
Yeah. That being said, I think it's a really fucking good game. It's just that I'm never going to see all the story because I played through it once and then looked at what I was going to have to do to see the rest of it. I'm like, I don't think I'm ever going to do that because that's like what I think. Even if you do it like expediently, like that's 100 hours.
Yep.
Like, I will give it a 7 and wish they streamlined the intro part a little better.
Platinum Games presents Copaganda. I'm sorry, Astral Chain.
You know what? I mentioned something to someone who played that game that said that, like when I was like, I don't feel like playing it because it glorifies the cops. And they were like, you know who the villain is? It's a cop. They went bad. And I'm like, well, that's the fucking point.
You're playing as a cop who puts beasts in chains as they scream and writhe around and have sentience and beg not to be enslaved by you, and then you say, fuck you, you fight for me now.
Yeah.
That is what that game is. Fuck.
It sucks because you know what? That game's probably fun as shit. It's probably No doubt in my mind. Platinum Games makes real good fucking action games. It's probably super fun.
Well,
I'm just never gonna fucking play it.
Not all of their games.
Yeah, that is true. The ones that they put any kind of effort into. I give it. Well, yeah, I guess Wonderful 101. Yeah, they did put an effort into that, and that's a pile of shit. In honor of that, I will give Astral Chain the same thing I gave Wonderful 101 a 3.
Tetris 99.
I will give that shit an 8. It is a brilliant idea.
Daemon X Machina.
I will give that a 4. That is a very complex mech game that is not that great.
Link's Awakening for Switch.
I will give that a 5.
Dragon Quest XI-S.
That's a super good version of like comfort food the RPG. But at the end of the day, it's kind of just a boring comfort food the RPG.
Yep.
I'll give it a 7.
Ring Fit Adventure.
Game's fucking incredible. It's the highest selling JRPG of all time soon, I think
Something
maybe?
like that.
I don't know.
Well, no, Pokemon.
Oh, yeah. It's the highest selling JRPG probably of this generation.
Yes, for sure.
I'm gonna give it a 9. Like it's incredibly good. I just need to get over. I need to be consistent with playing it.
Luigi's Mansion 3.
If you were to have asked me this a couple months ago, I would have said something lower. But I've been playing through this with my son watching, and I think that the combat is super repetitive, but it is a really fun game. I'll give it a 7.
Pokemon Sword and Shield.
I will give that one an 8. How are we doing the DLC for that?
Was not released on its own, so
okay.
It counts as part of the score.
All right, keeping with an 8. That makes me more solid. I was a little on the fence of 7 or 8, but it's weird though because I really like the first DLC. Second one, I fucking hate the Dynamax battles. I think they're bad.
Box Boy plus Box Girl.
Totally good Box Boy game. I'll give it an 8.
Cadence of Hyrule: Crypt of the Necrodancer featuring The Legend of Zelda.
There's a mouthful of a title, but I will give it a 9.
Super Kirby Clash.
This is the one that I think there was some discrepancies about whether or not I was going to review that game.
Yes.
This one is the one that's free to play though, right?
Yes.
But it's not very good. I'll give it a 3.
The Stretchers.
Poor The Stretchers, a really clever idea that got sent out to die. 7.
Dr. Mario World.
I am one of the biggest defenders of Dr. Mario, and this game is largely bad outside of the really weirdly good versus mode. I'll give it a 3.
Mario Kart Tour.
I will give that a 9. I love that game. I can understand a lot of people why they wouldn't. It just works well for me, and my kid likes it.
Alright, 2020. Fewest games they've ever put out since the fucking NES Super Nintendo.
Thanks, COVID.
Tokyo Mirage Sessions, Sharp FE Encore.
They made a good game even better. 9.
Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Rescue Team DX.
3.
Animal Crossing New Horizons.
If it was the quarantine enjoyment, then it would definitely be a 10 out of 10. However, I also need to reckon with the fact that this is a very flawed game that just seems to be specifically engineered to sell shitloads of copies.
Yes.
Because of the time that it came out, which I think is a very smart move for Nintendo, and I think everything that they've done with Animal Crossing New Horizons has been 100% the right commercial idea. However, I miss the weirdness of Animal Crossing and wish it would come back. Give it a 7.
Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition.
I don't know if this is the definitive edition of the game. Some of the quality of life stuff is good. I don't really think it looks that visually impressive, and I think Future Connected stinks on ice. I'll go 5. It's still... We've talked about it before, where I think that playing the definitive edition points out the flaws of that game back on Wii. But I still, like, it's kind of... The quality of life stuff makes it like a different version of comfort food the RPG.
Yep. Clubhouse Games.
7.
Paper Mario: The Origami King.
9. Largely because I think it has the right way to do really good NOA Treehouse localization things. Yes. I was thinking about that today because they have like direct quotes from an amazing band called Pup that you would not know that it's a reference to Pup unless you were aware of Pup. And that is the right way to do, like, people get mad when Treehouse does memes and shit. But when you do it in a way that it's like, you're the fucking Leonardo DiCaprio meme of pointing at the screen when you see it, but otherwise it does not like stand out.
Yes.
And God, Origami King is way. I had high hopes, kind of blew them away. I really love that game.
Super Mario 3D All Stars has sunshine in it.
Um, I still played a lot of this package, even if I had complaints with it. I'll give it a 6.
Pikmin 3 Deluxe.
Um, give it an 8. I still think it's a very good version of a game, but I don't think it really adds that much.
Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity.
If it ran better, I would probably be like at a 9 with it, but it does not. So I'll go 8.
Fitness Boxing 2 Rhythm and Exercise.
I'll give it a 4.
You think that game was fucking fast-tracked after Ring Fit?
Probably.
Good job.
Good Job is pretty good. I actually didn't. I think I like the stretches more than Good Job.
I was gonna say
be...
that those two games were like felt like they were competing with each other in Nintendo's own portfolio.
Yeah. Good Job is still really fun though, but I think I like the stretchers better. I'll give Good Job a 6.
Jump Rope Challenge.
I'll give it a 5 just because it's a cute little thing.
Pokemon Cafe Mix.
I'll give it a 6. I think it's actually like a fun little mobile game.
Kirby Fighters 2.
Actually, I'll give this one a 5. It has like some, like you're kind of like going up a tower, battling stuff, like almost pseudo roguelikey.
Super Mario Brothers 35.
Are we factoring in the fact that it's time limited?
Yes.
All right, 5. I think it's a really cool thing. I think the fact that we have like 38 days to play it is bullshit.
Mario Kart Live Home Circuit.
I will give that one a 6.
Part-time UFO.
I'll give that one a 6, largely because the charm of it is gone, and I think it controlled better on mobile.
Fire Emblem, Shadow Dragon, and the Blade of Light.
If I could rate the collector's edition,
No, you can't.
it would be like an 8 or a 9. But if I had to rate the actual game, it's like a 2.
Okay. Final question: do you want to rate the Mario Game & Watch? Do we want to count that?
I would probably just give it a 5. So
okay, then never mind.
Yeah.
In that case,
because I think the Mario Game & Watch, for what it is, like, it's perfect. It's just that what it is just like a gimmicky bullshit gift
yay! Thing. Our highest year ever was 2014.
I know, 14.
2018. You're right. 6.24 versus 2.6.
That makes sense. I mean, I think, yeah, like this does kind of make me look at it in the fact that, I have long kind of criticized the fact that I miss weird Nintendo, and I do think there's something that we are missing, by the fact that like weird Nintendo is gone. But I think they're probably smarter for doing what they're doing now, and I know everybody expects that like, oh, they consolidated development, they're going to make more games. Well, guess what? It turns out that HD games take a lot more to make, so the teams got bigger. And maybe Nintendo isn't that efficient of a company either. They've always kind of kept their headcount low. But I don't know. It is kind of interesting for the past couple of years. I don't even know if it's that much recency bias, other than I think Nintendo's just better of not putting out complete shit.
Yeah, hang on. I'm trying to align these charts so that yours and James's can be both on the stream. Give me a fucking break, Excel. There we go.
It is hilarious. Well, I will say, we kind of leveled out near the end.
Yes.
Although he's still, like, he was largely just consistently higher.
Yes. Whoops.
Because he was basically, he had my low, I had some that were below 4, although that also comes with a little bit of me doing my ranking based on when I would have come across those games and not necessarily when they first came out. But it just follows the same patterns, just with like almost slightly different rubric.
Yep, pretty much. Same plummets. But his lowest was 2009, obviously, at 4.75. And your lowest was 3.9.
3.5,
which was both 1980 to 1983 and 1986.
Yeah, 1986 was a rough year.
Yes. All right.
Well, that was fun. Are you going to do this with anybody else?
I don't think so.
It is a
Not
very long stream.
not out of lack of interest, but more out of desire to move on.
Well, I had a lot of fun doing this.
Well, thank you.
Um, yeah, that's all I got. Other than 2021, I don't know, Bowser's 3D World plus Bowser's Fury, I'd probably give a 9, which is the review score that I literally gave it.
Yes.
So that makes sense. I don't think. Oh, yeah, I guess. Yeah, that's the only one that would have been out so far.
Yep, pretty much.
Yeah, but I guess I can't wait to bravely default 4 out of 10.
Oh boy. Yep, pretty much.
But you know what's going to be funny though is that every review will come out and probably be like 8 to like it'll probably have like a Metacritic in the high 70s.
Yep, probably like 79.
And every review will be like, it's a really great JRPG. Return to form.
Everyone says return to form with regards to Japanese role-playing games, and I have no fucking idea what those words are code for. Because, like, in my head, those are, like, my best guess is, makes me feel like I do when I'm a child, and I don't think about RPGs enough to have remembered that I've said this for all of the last 10 JRPGs I reviewed. But, like, even then, you're like, return for what? The 360 era?
I do love that because I remembered when this phenomenon first stood out to me, and I did not hate. We talked about it on the last stream that I did not hate Pokemon X and Y when I first played them, largely because of the circumstances in which like that game launched, and I had a good time with it.
Mm-hmm.
I distinctly remember, and both of the Metascore for Pokemon X and Y are like 87.
Yeah.
I feel like I can almost credit Nintendo for marketing it very well and getting people to review it, because so many mainstream reviews of Pokemon X and Y were talking about like, look at how great these games look in 3D. They took the old Game Boy games and look what they did to them. And I always feel bad dunking on reviewers just period, because like the pace sucks. It's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of time and everything. But it just felt like Nintendo seemingly had a strategy of, let's target these reviews towards people who haven't played a Pokemon game in 20 years. Like, at a time when Pokemon wasn't even out for 20 years. But it felt like we want to go for people that last played them on the original Game Boy. Because it was a little bit where, you know, you can't expect people to always play every previous iteration of a game, so you're going to have some of that, but like at a certain point, if you're talking about X and Y and your comparison point is like Pokemon Gold and Silver on the Game Boy, then like who are you writing for? I guess yourself.
Yes. I think we're gonna call it. Thank you, Neal, for participating in this and for making this a 3-parter instead of a 4-parter.
I tried my best to extend it as long as possible.
All right, thanks everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.